Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Tornado Tag Podcast, episode 151. Stadium Stampede.
Spring Stampede.
I'm sorry. Spring Stampede.
We talk Stadium Stampede too.
1994. I had no time to change, but I was going to wear. I was going to put my Stadium Stampede shirt on. But we are here live. Spring Stampede, 1994. We're going to cover that towards the end of the show. We have a lot of news to talk about. We are at PPW this week, so we're going to talk some PPW. Before we get into anything, if you are watching this or listening to this, we're going to get it right at the top of the show. We're 91 subscribers over on YouTube. We're right there at the cusp of 100.
Yeah.
Bang and Beers podcast just broke 100. They have 101 subscribers. Not Cool in High School and Truth Behind Illusion is still around the 40, like just about to hit the 40 mark. So if you subscribe to our channel over on YouTube, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the rest of our channels. Just hit subscribe. Help us out. The goal is 1,000 by the end of the month.
Did I unmute myself? I thought I didn't.
Yeah.
And now I'm good.
So yeah, the IWEP network. We'll get these the housekeeping out quick. We have merchandise, everything over there. Patreon. Just head over to iwepnetwork.com. You can check out all the shows we have on the network. All the really fun stuff we do. Like I said, we're usually live all week long, doing various different things. We want to thank the people who do support us over on Patreon. So Ryan Vox from Outbreak Wrestling, David S, Brett Squared, Bridget M, Andrew H from Bang and Beers podcast, Greg R, Heidi B from Not Cool in High School, Ryan G from the Fueled by Haas podcast, Kelly from Crystal Mountain Healing and TBI, Truth Behind Illusion, Tommy B, the Tree of Life Metaphysical Shop, Brad Z, Higher Than Other Words, and JH. So thank you all so much. There is going to get to the point where hopefully one day we get enough Patreon subscribers that we can't. So we'll just read like the new ones.
Yes.
So that's how we're going to do. So it's $1 for a shout out. And then it's going to be anyone over $10 is in the runnings for a free t-shirt every month. So we will be drawing that t-shirt for,
and we'll put them over with a random thing that's positive.
Yes.
Like, Tommy, he's such a great mechanic. He's just so good.
So good with the wrench.
I don't never did that in my life.
Ronnie in the chat before we started said this should be interesting. Is this related to the Canadian Stampede?
No. Canadian Stampede was that WWF pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That was really good with the 4-on-4 tag match for the
main
event.
This is an old
505
WCW.
Yeah, 505.
1994, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's Stampede Wrestling.
Yeah.
Canadian Stampede from that was what, like 97, I think.
I think so. Yeah, Steve Austin.
That would be a good show to revisit this summer because that's an all-time great. That's the best in your house ever.
Okay, let's see if it was the Steve Austin, Goldust, LOD, and somebody else versus the Heart Foundation.
Yes, Ken Shamrock.
There we go.
All right, Ronnie, maybe you just gave us an episode idea.
It was a very hot crowd. You were talking about
the hottest crowd.
Yeah.
Steve Austin was the biggest heel in wrestling that night.
Yeah,
and he played it up. Yeah, because it's them against the Hart family, like Owen Brett, the Bulldog, Jim Neidhart, and Brian Pillman in Canada, in Calgary.
So we are going to make a half announcement right now. We got contacted.
We are planning on. All right, now and then.
That's the first half of the announcement.
We got contacted for someone to be a guest on the podcast. Blew me away. Did not think this was ever going to happen or even be on the radar. We're very honored by it. But I don't want to say who it is yet in case it falls through and then it's just like, oh, you guys lied the whole nine.
So possibly a big guest.
So tune in next week. Well, at a different start time. We're going to be starting at 7:30 or 7. Did I say 7 or 7:30?
Yes.
I think 7:30.
7:30.
7:30
I'll look
Eastern.
in the chat again.
If you're
Yeah. So we'll just say for now 7 o'clock, 7:30. Be prepared for the earlier start time for our guest. It's going to be the biggest guest we've ever had on the show. No offense to all other guests.
The Rock.
But this person has had a huge effect in professional wrestling.
Yes.
And you definitely are aware of their work. And
what you gonna do when they're on this podcast?
Yeah,
what you gonna do?
We have all these teasers, but we're very, very, very excited and we're pumped. But so we're gonna give you a half announcement to be a teaser. Be ready for next week. We're not gonna post any graphic. Just tune in and you'll see their face.
We
and
will
you'll
be starting at 7:30.
Starting at 7:30.
PWG does this. It's called Mystery Vortex.
Yeah,
it's just that you trust PWG enough that we're just gonna do a show. We're not gonna tell you who's on it, but you know it's gonna be good. And you don't know any of the matches.
That's what we're doing. We're vortexing this shit.
Mhm.
It's gonna be so much fun. We're excited. But yeah. Well, let's get into current day wrestling and what's going on in the world of professional wrestling.
Well, I guess the big news is that
Next Thursday night. Yep.
Yes,
Next Thursday. Yep.
next Thursday night, 7:30 Eastern. I think a lot of our audience is in the Eastern time zone. A half hour earlier than we normally start.
Yes.
We will be
And if
going
you
live.
listen the next day, it doesn't matter because it'll come up
Yeah.
on
But we are
iTunes like normal
we're so excited.
or whatever.
So
podcast.
excited.
So I guess the big news in wrestling this week would be Tony Khan's major announcement, which is that on Sunday, June 26th, in the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, and on pay-per-view, it is Forbidden Door, AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling with a joint show.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get AEW guys versus New Japan guys.
But they didn't. You would
They
think.
didn't say that,
They
but
didn't
you would
say.
think, yeah.
I didn't say.
Yeah. You have
could-
to have a crossover with at least one match.
Is Kenny
Yeah.
back for that night?
I wonder if you
I would
think?
hope. I would hope. That
He's
was
probably
kinda-
like rush, like fucking, let's go.
Yeah, even if he can't wrestle, to
Yeah.
at least appear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know where-
yeah. You could do
I
like
just
maybe.
saw something today. Now they're saying Okada might not make it though.
Oh,
Might
why?
not be available for that. I didn't read the whole article.
I don't believe them.
I looked.
Yeah.
If they're already saying he can't
All
make
right,
it,
let's make a New Japan's like, who do we want on the show? Let's start. One Okada. Like,
yeah. Okada. If they're already saying Okada can't make it,
yeah.
Okada's a
Let
teaser.
me tell you something. He's there. Unless he gets hurt or dies, hopefully not, but he'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's saying they want Punk versus Kenta.
Oh, for the go to sleep
The
battle.
battle
Yeah.
to go to sleep.
I seen Punk versus Okada. All the matches like Danielson versus anyone.
Yeah.
About from
Yeah,
New
you
Japan.
could do Danielson against Kenta because Danielson took the
Yeah.
psycho knee from him.
So you could do that. I mean,
Oh,
it
sorry.
looks like they're building Moxley versus Tanahashi already for it.
Yeah, they've been building that for a while.
for a while.
So that's probably a match. And then I don't the tag division over there is a little rough, but like Naito never appeared for New Japan yet.
If I can suggest, please, Miro and Ishii. I've been asking for it forever.
Didn't Kingston show up and already make a challenge?
Yeah, to Ishii.
Ishii.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that'll probably be the match.
Yeah.
He's wrestling on Adam Cole this weekend on
Rampage.
on
Yeah.
Friday.
That is
Come
a
on,
Owen
come
Hart Cup qualifier.
Yeah, what if Ishii gets it? You never know.
Yeah.
And this show is like a couple weeks before the G1.
Mhm.
So
This
Yeah,
may
June
set up some-
26th.
there's gonna be at least one AEW at the G1, maybe two, probably one in each bracket, maybe four, at
Yeah.
least two, at least one, at the very least one.
It's exciting.
Also-
It's exciting.
also,
Well,
please, Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr., please.
Yeah, that, man, might set that up. I mean, there's a lot of great a lot of fresh matchups too.
it's fun. Fun time to be a
Mhm.
wrestling fan.
It is.
Yeah, and the AEW marks and the WWE marks are just very entertaining
Even
to
if-
watch on the wrestling.
Even if you have like Darby and Sting versus like, I don't know, a young Kojima and a young boy, it's like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of,
Has Tenzan retired yet?
I don't think. I think he's gonna say.
How about Sting and Darby against Tenkozy?
Yeah, there you go.
Can we get one person to come out of retirement to wrestle Sting? Jushin?
Oh,
I think Liger is
I
happily
think he's
retired.
done, but like he probably could still wrestle if he wanted to. I think he still trains at the dojo.
It'd be fun. It'd be a fun match to watch.
Yeah, him versus anyone really.
Yeah.
So I found the article here. It's saying it's kind of like a tease almost. It's saying that Okada's wife's birthday is on the same day, and he's saying
Oh, he's
no, he
coming.
may
Oh,
get.
fuck it.
He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
coming.
For your birthday party, we're going to Chicago. Yeah.
Okay. I can't make it. What if we bring your wife? Oh, I still can't.
No, she doesn't like wrestling. Sorry, guys.
She doesn't like getting on the plane.
All right. Well, that's the big.
She'll have more birthdays.
We'll have more of the local. Let's
You know who's available for that show?
you.
Kushida. Yeah, well, me, but I'm not. I don't work for either company, so I probably won't be there. But Kushida is no 30-day compete.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're not getting blue and gold against the time splitter.
No. I don't think-
What if?
Yeah. What? If?
Put it out there. Put it out there.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna get this one random indie guy on the show. People are like, what the fuck?
Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of indie, let's switch gears real quick to independent side. We got a chance to all hang out for the first time ever.
Yeah.
We didn't all get to chill as much as probably I'd want. Like what we told you,
I know.
it's tough. You're a trooper for kind of hanging solo by yourself there.
I wasn't really
Hey.
that solo. This brings me up to something I wanted to mention on Truth Behind the Illusion. I got to meet Dana, one of our fans out there, and she was super excited to meet me. I was super excited to meet her, so I kind of hung out with her. I hung out with Gavin and Palmer, and I got to meet a lot of new people and talk. So
Wrestling shows are a blast.
yeah, I wasn't so socially awkward as I normally am. So
I got to see 2 matches.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Brian got to see too. Yeah.
So yeah, we went to PPW for their Super Show 3, and before we get into any matches or talk anything, PPW Nation, PPW audience, PPW fans, you our
universe.
universe.
So you gotta call
You-
it.
It's a,
you
no,
got-
it's a nation. We call it the PPW Nation.
the name PPW Nation. You all are fantastic.
Yeah, I can really see why you guys get pumped to go there now because that was a really fun night. It
The
really was.
crowd, for the most part, since being at Broadheadsville, has been hot
Yeah,
like that almost
have.
every show. But they exploded this show. They
Mhm.
were really into it from the
And-
start to the finish.
And the
Yeah.
first match back and the first match in that building, that crowd was so hot for Andy winning the TV title.
Oh,
They
yeah,
went
yeah, how about
nuts.
that?
Yeah. Well, we started off hot
Probably
here.
the fastest PPW match ever, too.
Yeah. Well, we start off hot for this show because Rich, they're they get in the ring and they're saying Paul and Tony are thanking the crowd for
Yeah.
another getting to a super show and very excited. And Rich Holiday comes down and says,
Richard Holiday.
Richard Holiday comes
Richard
down
Holiday.
and he says, "This is
Very
bullshit.
marketable.
I don't have a match. I'm a big draw here. Who are you gonna have me fight?" And Go Ninja Go starts playing, and the return of the injured facade
Yeah,
is
I think
back.
a little early.
He is
right?
itching to get
that's
back.
what it was just December or like late
Yeah.
November when he injured his knee, and then when I saw him come out, I'm like, wow, that's fast, man.
He
That's-
was
But he-
slightly ahead of schedule, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he didn't miss a beat.
no.
He looked
Done.
great, and we're happy to say that PPW Nation, we have facade back.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have a little TikTok coming with that when he came out and the crowd popped. So
Yeah,
keep
which-
an eye on our TikTok.
I don't know the every match schedule, so I don't know who comes out where or what matches.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are next, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If that was the first match,
Yeah.
yeah, we're second.
You guys came out in the 4-4
yeah, the
match.
Survivor Series, but no, not elimination.
Yes, and you had to go against Team JD
Mhm.
with JD.
Yeah, because a couple of his members couldn't make it. So
Yeah,
he filled in, and who was the other fill in?
Brad.
Brad filled in.
Yeah.
But he's
It-
on the team anyway.
he's a Sins member. Yeah,
It was Fox, Vineyard, Timothy Theory, Brad DeMeo, Joe Davis against Andy, Tarzan Duran, Trevor Kage, and Bison.
Mhm.
dude, Trevor Kage. Let's talk about him for a second. That kid's got a future.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty good.
really.
He got a little hurt on the dive.
He did.
but
He tweaked his back a little
he was
bit.
moving and stuff. That was the best.
Yeah,
so
But man,
not
he's
a bad
good.
Spill.
He's good. Got a good character. He's got a good look.
Mhm.
Everything about him. Very, very respectful. I like him a lot.
Look at the total elimination move.
Yeah.
Not from the Eliminators fans.
Uh, Tarzan. Yeah, he came out to Ghost at Monster Factory.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah, he came out.
Yeah,
to
we all
Dance-
came out to one
Dance
music,
Macabre, so that was cool. But yeah, and then Team Sins is gonna get the victory here.
Mhm.
You take a Doomsday device,
Yeah.
and JD gets the cover
Yeah.
and is now undefeated
Okay. Yeah. I guess so.
at PPW.
1-0. I guess.
Yeah.
1-0-0.
So, and he gets on the mic and says it's going to be a dog collar match,
Mm-hmm.
which may change.
Yes.
Well, I can
Maybe
tell
not.
you if you stay tuned to PPW High Voltage or if you see the show on Fight, Fox Vineyard and while JD is showering, taking a victory shower,
well, what
Fox,
better way to celebrate?
Fox Vineyard is maybe a little let's wait and see on that. We'll find
Trepidatious.
out.
Yeah.
But
There's a video of JD in a shower that you videotaped.
well, he
There's
no
a promo
no
of him in the
tastefully
shower.
done, tastefully done. Yes,
Tastefully done.
there
I-
is a shower curtain involved.
I am
okay.
so excited for this. So you guys,
If we're going behind the curtain, maybe we needed to record a promo while a certain someone was doing commentary, so we pretend that they're in the shower.
oh,
Oh.
so the fun thing
That's
behind the scenes,
magic.
yeah, the fun thing behind the scenes here too is we one of the things that we use for our podcast kind of came in handy at PPW, which
Mhm.
kind of gave them a little more freedom to go and get more things around the building because
Oh, we
used
were
to
all
watch-
over the place last night.
Yeah, we had a
that
wireless
night.
mic system, which they loved. They really enjoyed it.
Yeah, always a good time. I always talk about I don't get to see the matches, but it's always a fun time hanging out with Tom Mitchell and Coach Juliana, and it's a great team behind.
I think the
scenes.
talent like it too because they can go around the building and shoot stuff all over.
Yeah,
the
it
place.
gives a little more variety in what you can
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a lot of variety.
yeah. I'm
We shot
pumped.
something in the back of a U-Haul. We shot.
Yeah, it's really pumped, really exciting. But yeah, so that happened. But JD also said if Andy Header wins the match, which he won't, he said, but if he does,
Yeah, the
you
classic.
get a 1 minute time with JD one-on-one in the ring.
Yeah, how about that?
1 minute.
1 minute.
We want to shoot minute too.
It should be. Yeah. No working minute. No, what was that Royal Rumble where it wasn't quite 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the that's if I
if you win.
Yeah, they sweeten the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
And the TV title is on the line for that?
I would
Yes.
assume.
Yep.
Yeah.
If we were not to be
Yeah.
at this point.
I mean, it's not official yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
The card will be released in the coming the weeks for the next PPW
Which
show.
May 15th? 21st.
May
May
21st.
21st. Hard to
Yeah.
shoot to kill or
No, I think it's like a Mission Impossible.
I
No,
got
Not
it.
Mission
It's a James
Impossible,
Bond.
It is
James Bond,
everything,
that's it.
everything or nothing.
Everything
that's
or
it.
nothing.
Everything or
that's it.
nothing.
And yeah, they have a few announcements. Gia Scott, who has been on AEW and Ring of Honor, will be there. It's her PPW debut. And then the reigning Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, Tasha Steelz, returns to PPW.
Yeah. And there's a former ROH champion coming.
Oh, yeah,
too.
Josh Woods. He was Josh Woods was
before.
until very recently he was the pure champion.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I'm thinking.
Did he? Is he the one that did he wrestle Yuta at the paper?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The guy who Yuta lost Yuta won the pure title from on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view before WrestleMania is Josh Woods.
Cool. What else we got here? I'm trying to
Next
remember.
was Rembrandt.
Was
I don't know the
No
match
Limit.
order.
Rembrandt
Yeah.
Cosmic
It's
versus
Chris
Chris Slade and
it was it's the No Limits title match, so it was a
Yeah.
bunch of people. We had Rembrandt, Dustin Waller, Adrian Soriano, Leo Sparrow. Who is
the guy who was the
vegan.
lettuce was just the vegan.
That's
He was
Leo
just
Sparrow,
on,
yeah.
Leo was just on wrestling Barstool Sports
Oh, okay.
wrestling podcast.
I think he was throwing spinach too. It wasn't
Yeah,
lettuce.
Yeah.
spinach. So he was on a pretty big wrestling podcast recently himself. So
Oh,
yeah, the guy's making his ways out there. But once again, No Limit title.
yeah, first time seeing him.
And I will say this was a good, and I'm not saying this because they're our logo and we care deeply about them, but this when peeling the curtain back here, Rembrandt and Cosmic go that extra mile when it comes to what most professional wrestlers I think should do. They are in the title picture that maybe isn't one that's showcased as it gets a match every show, but they are taking a storyline and doing the outside stuff and filming promos and getting the fans excited about it. And it showed how much of the fans are watching those outside promos leading into the match because they were hot for that match. And when when all the when Chris Slade and Rembrandt would collide or get close, the fans were buying into it because of that outside work that they're doing. So huge hats off to Rembrandt, Chris Slade, Cosmic, and all of them for really putting that work in. At this point, the rest of the No Limits are exciting that they're there, but these two are building a story that people are latching onto, and it's almost as much as the main title picture. They're pushing a storyline that people are liking.
And by the way, I double checked that Leo Sparrow is a Creative Pro guy.
There you go.
He comes to Creative Pro Wrestling. It's Brian Myers' school. Pat Buck is involved too. So there's a pipeline right to AEW. Pat Buck just left WWE for AEW.
Yeah.
He's an agent there now. And I believe so because Leo Sparrow, I didn't even know he was on the show. He came with VSK, who was also a Creative Pro guy.
Boy, wouldn't Creative Pro be a fun episode in the future?
Yes, it would.
Wink, wink.
That is a big school. It's doing big things. And maybe most dubious is their most famous alumnus, which would be MJF, was as a Creative Pro guy. But the big thing here, Chris Slade gets the win, but then Rembrandt and Cosmic kidnap Shiva, his manager.
There you go.
And when we were saying we were just talking about Rembrandt, I'll double down on that because not many people have seen this because it hasn't been released yet. But Rembrandt does a very, very creative and intense a little piece of something that'll be on the PPW or be on High Voltage, I believe, and it'll be on the fight broadcast.
He literally gets on the top turnbuckle and he's just staring at the rampway for Slade to come down. Like they're the small things, man, that you can take any title or any the workers. If you really want to make a spot for yourself at a card, do that stuff because if you get enough people buying into it. People are going to be excited for your match.
Presentation wise, Rembrandt and Cosmic really get it.
Yeah,
they know their characters. They know how to fully inhabit their characters, and I can't put over enough because I'm one of 4 people who have seen it. What they did with the backstage stuff, it's going to be worth going out of your way to watch.
Yeah, they're magnificent, and just really excited for them and see what more people are, how people are really gonna perceive that going forward. Next match
was for the PPW tag team title we have a
Three-way match,
triple threat
yeah.
match. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was Primal Fear, South Philly's finest, the reigning champions, and a team with a new name, Vinnie Mac and Joey Martinez, no longer Team Ruda. They are championship material.
But they are still with Rudo.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Ruda is still their manager. Not only are they championship material, they are the new PPW
new-
tag team champions.
Mhm, they won.
Yeah,
I didn't see a second.
some security guard goons came out and hit some people and caused a screwy
Uh-oh.
finish, and they walk out as your new champions. All right, next match.
The next match was Jay Lethal defeating Alpha Jr. with
Holy
a
shit.
big assist
Yeah.
from Mike Orlando.
Yes, so Mike Orlando comes out late in the match and helps Jay Lethal get the win. Jay Lethal comes out first and cuts a promo.
Mhm.
Little savage in there, little savage.
Jay Lethal always kind of sounds a little bit like Macho Man.
He does, yeah. But he throws a little savage in there, and then he kind of leads into his feud with Samoa Joe,
Yeah.
saying that you may know Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
over
something
there.
tells me that you
Something-
might know Samoa Joe. 'cause
Yeah,
And
Alpha
my
Jr.
goodness,
is Simone. if you don't
yes,
he is.
know.
part of the family.
Yeah, if you didn't know.
Samoa Joe, also Samoan.
Yes.
Yeah. It's-
Not just a clever name.
Yeah.
Shitty Beatles, Jolly Green Giants.
but they killed it. Great match. The storytelling here the entire time was Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe, yeah, Samoa Joe wouldn't show.
As Alpha Jr. wants to fight and
Yeah.
he wants to take him outside the ring and do what
And
do
Jay
what he
Lethal
does.
wants to wrestle.
And Jay Lethal wants to wrestle
Mhm.
because he does not want any business of Alpha Jr. outside the guardrails of PPW, because we know that Alpha Jr. outside the guardrails is going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, people will die. But it was a great match. A little assistance from Mike Orlando, as we said already, and and Jay Lethal gets the W here.
And I do want to take a quick second just to be like, Jay Lethal is a guy who he's been about as successful as you can be without ever stepping foot in WWE, as far as had a big run in Impact that's still remembered. Everybody still remembers like Black Machismo, the thing with Flair. More time spent as the ROH World Champion than any other wrestler if you count all of his reigns together.
Just loyalty too. He only went to Impact because he had to leave ROH, but he would have stayed his whole career there.
And now all elite. Now he's all elite.
Mhm.
And this is a guy who could come to an indie show and coast. He could come in 10 minutes late. He could just half-ass sign some autographs. He could sit by himself on his phone in the corner, and he could go out and do a 5-minute comedy match.
And everybody would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay Lethal
Well, nice
worked his
feedback.
ass off from the time he got into that building until the time he left. He was either entertaining the fans or helping people the entire time.
I mean, not just that. There was a
just
seminar
personable,
before. There was a
yeah.
seminar.
That's what I'm
before-
getting at. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
the seminar.
he does, and not just a seminar where you stand in the corner and say you did this right, you did this wrong. He is out there. He is in there just hands-on, going through the paces and giving people good advice. And then he's signing autographs and taking pictures. And then he's wrestling. And then he's backstage in the area where we film a lot of the promos, and he's giving people coaching. He's really listening to them. He's being intensive. He was helping me film things better. Like literally, he was helping everybody he came into contact with.
He's if I already was a mega fan of Jay Lethal, and I never even thought it was possible to become more of a fan. He gave so much knowledge to talent and to everyone that was involved in that show that night. The dude's he's a fucking knockout. Like he's amazing. He's absolutely fantastic. Yes, I'm gonna fangirl every single time I
You
see
know
him.
what? I didn't get to talk to him one-on-one, but I was in the back there with him. But he was kind enough to be like joining the conversations we were having with other people and
Yeah.
stuff. And he sat down right by some of us. I was a little shell shocked at first because this was my first event, and this is a guy I watch on television, and I was like, whoa. And he was super nice.
And just
He
for
was
how much
fun.
he's accomplished.
Right.
And if you've seen the recent video of him and Flair,
Yeah, wrestling.
Yeah.
he literally did that with every single person who took that seminar.
Yeah, and he talked to him too.
Yeah, he literally gave everyone in there. If you did a total time of how much he worked before he even got in the ring
Yeah.
and did his
Well, the
match,
seminar I believe was set for 2 hours.
he
so went
did
the full
he did
2. Yeah.
over an Iron Man match with everybody there. Yeah. So
Well, he would defend he was world champion and TV champion at the same time, and he would defend both on each show
he's an animal.
for a while.
He's an animal. Love him to death. And also he extended an invite to a guy that we may know, you may have seen on TV. You want to take this, Brian?
Yeah. All of a sudden, we are all a little surprised that Kerry Silkin showed up.
Mhm.
He's standing ringside during the seminar,
Former ROH owner.
and we're all like, "Is that who we think it is? And then I kind of look at Brian, and he's like pointing and shaking his head. So we went over and introduced ourselves, and he introduced himself as if we didn't know who he was.
I was in the locker room. He came in. He walked right up to me. I didn't know he was there, and I said, "Hi, I'm Kerry Silk." I know who you are, man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what he
like,
said.
I'm Andy, but,
He was, I'm Kerry Silk.
I talked to him. He talked to everyone for like 5 minutes.
Another guy backstage.
Very nice.
Great conversation. He watched the seminar. He would pull you aside and said, I love what you're doing here. Fantastic guy.
A former ROH owner, for those that know, and then
long time.
And then the ambassador, basically.
Yeah,
after he was no longer the owner.
What a mind. Very entertaining, and he has his own podcast also.
Main Street something it's called, with Ian Riccaboni, the
announcer for a long time.
Yeah, so definitely go check out their podcast. But next match.
The next match, I'm actually just pulling up the name.
I think it was the Dante Martin match.
Last Stop Penn Station is the name of Ian Riccaboni and Kerry Silkin's podcast.
Yeah.
Last Stop Penn Station, if you check that out. So the next match was Rebecca Scott with Linda Simone in her corner, defeating Nikki Duke.
Totally 2 new ones. I totally missed this match.
Yeah,
I missed this one as well because I finally got a break in the action there, and I went backstage and I kind of seen how everything was going.
I seen them in gear. I was like, they look good.
Yeah,
and that's
I went backstage and I got to see. I went to make sure the microphones and stuff were working properly, and I did miss a lot of this match, so I can't really speak on it. But the fans seem to like it, and I hope we get. Listen, anytime there's more women matches on the card, I'm excited, and I hope it keeps happening for PPW.
Yeah, I like that they have more than one women's match here. Then we have in a fatal 4-way, Dante Martin defeating Griffin McCoy, Action Andretti, and Jordan Oliver.
I did see this one.
This match was everywhere. They flew all over the building. These 4 stole the show. They really did. They went out and killed it. Fantastic match. They set the bar for the rest of the night to be like, all right, here it is, beat it.
Yeah, and like you look at these 4, there's going to be a real fast, like high spotty type match. Like a PWG match, as they say.
Yeah, I did get an Action and Jetty shirt, but unfortunately, I bought a youth extra large, so there's no way I can.
Not a full grown extra.
Yeah, so there's no way I'm going to fit in that.
On Tony.
So Harley, if you're listening, you got a brand new Action and Andretti shirt. I'll give it to you next show. Yeah. I have to wash it though, but it's because I tried to fit
her. It might be small for her.
I may have stretched the hair.
Extra large.
I tried to put it on, and I was like, something's not right here. There's no way I gained that much more.
I couldn't squeeze it.
Yeah. All right, next match.
The next match was Lance Archer defeating Mike Orlando.
Holy shit!
All right, a little bit.
This match started in the ring and then quickly left the ring, left the guardrails, went all over Broadheadsville. They were they went to the library, they went to Wawa, they wrestled everywhere.
They took the last of the brisket.
They did. And boy, was the crowd hot for this. They were screaming. I was kind of helping, but they were going absolutely fantastic, nuts for this match. And
were they going banana?
They were going banana. And boy, man, does Lance Archer know how to fucking take over a crowd?
Yeah, he knows how to work it.
Yeah, and him and Mike Orlando killed it, man. I would say the 4-way is probably the match of the night, but when it came,
it was tough to be right after that.
Yeah, but they did it. They're like, okay, these 4 went out there and then the crowd was hot, and they went out there and said,
Did he beat him with the what's his finisher called? Not End of Days. The reverse razor's edge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic match. Even more of a Lance Archer fan than I was before coming in. Got to talk to him a lot during the meet and greet. Super cool dude. Super cool dude. Next match.
The next match was
he finally made it too, because remember last time he was canceled and he got hurt,
and then he got hurt. Yeah, so it was cool to see him.
This was another triple threat where Ali Rex defeats Amber Nova and Christina Marie.
My new favorite, Amber Nova.
Yeah, the returning Ali Rex.
Yeah, the first match back. I think her first match back overall.
Yeah,
like not just PPW.
I think she said she had a weird little spot in the match before.
Oh, okay, but not the first match.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she was a referee on the last show too.
Yeah, Amber Nova. Wow, she's a very beautiful.
Yes,
nice.
What a look.
Yeah, she's very, very nice too. I got to work with her during the meet and greet. Complete sweetheart. Hope she comes back. I believe she got to work the Shine show that was the other night. Like she left PPW, then flew back to Florida, and then worked that Shine show that just recently happened.
Oh, I don't. Possibly. I don't know.
It was very interesting. The women's champion Danny Moe was not there. She was actually in Houston. She was
with Thunder Rosa.
Oh wow,
Mission Pro. Yeah,
for her.
Yeah. From what we heard backstage, Thunder Rosa has taken a liking to Danny.
Oh, cool.
So fantastic for her.
It's hard not to. Danny has gotten so much better in a very short period of time.
Yeah. And she's very nice.
She's a very hard work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean,
her and Facade both are just incredibly hard workers.
Yep. Can't go wrong with either one of them. All right. And then our last match.
The main event for the PPW heavyweight title, Bro Keller, who is sneakily having a really good title reign here. He's been champion for what, about
He might
7
be,
months now?
He
Yeah.
might be my favorite PPW heavyweight champion in a long time.
Since
He's
you started seeing it, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I got to watch Mike Orlando as champion. I got to see Sean Carr as champion. I got to see Evander James as champion.
I forgot he was champion.
I've seen a bunch of different champions, but Bro Keller has strung together a really strong 7 months and has been really wrestling top contenders and putting on fantastic matches. Bro Keller is a megastar. I love the dude to death. He knows how to get the crowd, knows how to get people on his side. He's awesome, man. And VSK is extremely talented. He was a heel, but man, did the fans love him too. There was a fan section that they took his actual logo and put lights and stuff around.
Yeah, he is that VSK sign. Yeah,
he is that VSK, and he was trying to be heel, but people had signs for him and stuff because he was
that
there.
sign in line, and I'm like, dude, they put a lot of work
Yeah,
into
that's
that.
cool.
That was awesome.
They actually follow us on Instagram.
Do
They're
they?
fans of the podcast.
Well, the sign was awesome.
They're amazing people. So I don't know if they watched or listened to the podcast, but they do follow us on social media. But
and I am the proud owner now of this. I am the proud owner of
you were talking this up for a while. Yeah.
VSK sticker that is a parody of the old NWA TNA logo.
Yeah,
There it is.
and he had New York Islanders themed gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he is from Long Island. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
But
Don't let
yeah,
don't let MJF hear you say that.
and one of the greatest things, because I was near Tony during the meet and greet. Tony was with Lance Archer and Amber Nova, and I was with VSK and Lethal. And so Lethal, somebody's getting something signed by Lethal, and he's like, I like you. You're not like that MJF. And I like, don't talk about MJF with VSKO's over there, because they're Creative Pro guy. They're brothers in arms with Creative Pro. And she's like, well, you probably said something mean to him. So she's like giving it to this fan because she said something bad about MJF.
Yeah. Yeah, boy. Overall, amazing show. Once again, thank you, PPW, for having us. It's one thing to go in there and work and do everything we're doing with commentary, but to help with the meet and greet and get to be kind of rubbing elbows and shoulders with some amazing people in the industry, and just to have these great experiences and see how the crowd reacts to your at the shows has been a blast, man. This last show was awesome. I can't wait to see everybody again for the next one. But any other news before we jump into our topic?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to mention with VSK too, he's also, it's funny with the sticker, he's also involved right now in the NWA. He was in the Crockett Cup. He's been a fixture with Matt Cardona. They have like a stable there called, I think they're actually called the Cardonas.
He's also doing a thing in Impact with
Brian Myers, who was
Brian Myers. What are they called? The Learning Tree?
Yeah, the Learning Tree. It's on the sticker. The Learning.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
News wise, I don't think there's anything big WWE wise, except that
Austin Theory lost his first name.
Yeah.
He's now just,
and now he's champion.
Yeah, he won the title.
U.S. champion. Yeah.
They should just release him so that way maybe he could wrestle in June 25th.
I guess the idea right now, they're saying is that if somebody has an element of their ring name, unless it's like Randy Orton, somebody like that established, if somebody has an element of their ring name.
Yeah, or a previous name they used.
Or a previous name they used on the indies, that is their real name or a name they used on the indies, they want to get rid of it. And because Austin Theory's real first name is Austin, they wanted to drop it, so he's just Theory.
Which is totally stupid sounding.
What?
That's terrible. Like, if you're totally new name.
If you're going to do that, then when he was at NXT, he should have been called Hypothesis.
There you go.
There it is.
Austin Hypothesis. Just not hypothesis.
Yeah.
Hi. No, that's his first name is Hi.
Yeah.
WWE announced that,
and then they're just going to shorten that to Hypothesis.
Yeah.
WWE announced they're getting rid of marijuana testing on their thing.
Yeah,
I guess they were kind of lax on it for a while.
Yeah, they could call it the weed tax, which
you would get fined like $1,500.
Yeah,
yeah,
and guys like Randy Orton would just be like, "Here's my money."
Yeah,
yeah. Van Dam was infamously like, I think he actually negotiated just an extra however it would have came out, because just put it in my contract.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that much extra.
And not only did WWE say, yeah, we're going to fully get rid of it and make it transparent to the public, they then went out and put a 420 shirt out for
Yep.
Matt Riddle and RKO.
Yeah.
Or
I've seen that.
RK Bro. Yeah.
What was it? The snake smoking or something?
RVD is like, hey,
What the fuck?
yeah, come
And
on.
they literally took 420. I just smoked your.
Yeah, but it's the same month.
They
as
literally
RVD
took
shirt.
RVD's shirt. Yeah. So yeah, that's a little bit of news there. I'm trying to think of anything else.
Killer Cross and
Locally,
Scarlet.
Oh yes, Killer
That's
Cross and
probably why
Scarlet
she wasn't
Bordeaux.
at the PPW.
I would
event.
imagine that was
getting
why she
married.
was not there. She was busy
Yeah.
getting married.
I think actually
for her.
she was booked somewhere. She had
Oh,
some
okay.
booking or something happened, but
Maybe they got married the day before because they said they wrestled the
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah.
They wrestled the next day
so
together. Good for
congratulations.
her.
Very, very happy for them.
I'm trying to think of
Yeah,
He's
Yeah,
a
good for
very
them.
lucky man.
Yeah.
She's a very lucky lady too. He's not bad looking himself.
yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen women swoon over another man at PPW than the fans did for Killer Cross.
Yeah.
The ladies were
Oh, really? That's because he
Oh.
has a head of hair now.
yeah, the lady. I mean, listen, girls were going. They were a little. They like Lance Archer as
Well, I
well.
can see
but
that,
but
yeah.
me personally doing this stuff, I've never seen someone swoon over somebody as much as ladies
Oh,
did for
no.
Killer Cross. Yeah,
Now, if it was the 80s and the Rock and Roll Express came.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't get it. But
they'd be all about Ricky Morton. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, another thing we should mention, Legends of Hamburg is coming up in
Yes.
July, and announced just today the franchise, Shane
Ooh,
Douglas.
I'll see it when I believe it. He's supposed to be at that venue a few other times.
Yeah, one time you made it.
that
Hey,
was
get
when
your ECW franchise figure signed. They
Yeah.
do
Things,
exist.
things fall through. Things can fall through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want my
And I-
Goon figure signed. That's what I want. That's my main goal. To
The
get the Goon
Goon.
signed.
I'm hoping I get a cool Shockmaster item out of my
If you
crate.
get that
Yeah.
Goon figure signed, Tony Deppen might steal it from you. He might forcibly take it. Or
I might just tell Tony if he can't make it to bring his goon. Like
You
I'll
get signed for him,
I'll go get it signed for him.
I don't think Deppen has one. I think he was looking for a Goon figure.
The,
No, I think a fan bought him.
oh
one.
wow.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
The he can't be that much. That and
No.
I want Demolition to sign my comic book of them drawing them.
yeah.
So then we have April 30th. That's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. Honor Autism Acceptance. It did have some matches announced. We already had Ian Bush defending against Johnny Moran for the Outbreak title in the main event. But now we have our tag title match, which is going to be the leaders of the newest school, Robbie Radke. I think he's just Rob now in Outbreak. And Travis Banks, Bad Banks. They're going to be
The
defending
Outbreak
against.
once again. They're going to get rid of people's last names so they can no.
But he is Rob with two B's, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had to drop Radke.
They're going up against Art of War, who's a big tag team out of like the Delmarva area. They've been the 1CW tag team champions for I think about a year now. They're doing a lot of big things. That's Jason Andrews and AK Willis.
Yeah, pretty good about wrestling them before.
Yeah.
And then we have Dirtbag Dan against Stan Styles.
Oh wow, I didn't see that one. There's like 9 matches, 9 or 10, but they're not all announced yet.
Yeah, not everything's officially announced.
Okay.
If you are free, please come out and join us. We will all be there in attendance at the Hamburg Fieldhouse.
Yeah,
You
I'll
come
be
hang out.
wrestling. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, come out and hang out with us, and it's gonna be a good time.
Speaking of,
We do have a big
sorry.
guest next week, so we are going to do our guest, but maybe after our guest logs off, maybe we'll end the episode and we'll come back and do like a Hamburg Outbreak preview show.
Speaking
Maybe
of people we had a chance to hang out with on Saturday during PPW, when the doors open, there is a pre-show match. I believe it's going to be before 7:00. Pure Ignorance, the tag team Pure Ignorance, will be taking on our buddies, the Diamond City War Machines.
There it is.
We got to
Just
spend a lot of
Outbreak
time
show.
with on Saturday.
Oh my God, Pinhead did a fantastic job
Yes,
with
he did.
photography.
Oh, his
and-
photos were incredible.
Excellent.
And anytime I get to hang out with Brad and Eric is an absolute pleasure. I met a lot of really, really good people in this business, but man, they are close to the top of the list.
Yeah.
They're just good people.
Yes,
I
they
love them
are.
to death. I remember even you said like you're gonna like these guys. Like when
Yeah.
you're like I said we're gonna meet them at a show, you're like you're gonna love Brad and Eric. Like, and you weren't wrong. Just fucking good people to be around. Very inspiring people to be around, and they love the business.
Mhm.
Love, yeah,
I just want to say, like, they're cool wrestling uncles, even though I think I'm like the same age as them.
yeah, yeah. They're definitely our wrestling
That's
uncles. All right, well, let's get into our topic.
Yes.
Spring Stampede 94. Brian,
Mhm.
set the table for us. Tell us what got us to Spring Stampede and why
Yeah.
this pay-per-view was created.
So this pay-per-view was created because WCW decided they wanted to do monthly pay-per-views. They had like, I think they were doing like 7 or 8 a year. And like, no, we want to do a pay-per-view every month because their house show business wasn't that great. In 1994, WWF is still house show is their lifeblood, and they do make money on pay-per-view, but WCW, some of their house shows would actually have run on a loss. But pay-per-views made money, and they had people under guaranteed contracts, so the WCW wrestlers were getting paid just a flat rate no matter how much or how little they wrestled. So it made sense to let's just do 12 pay-per-views a year. There's 12 months, we'll do a pay-per-view every month. And then the next year, because at this point in 94, WWF is doing 5 a year. They're doing WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble. They added King of the Ring in 93, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and that's it. And then in 1995, the year after this, they start with In Your House, and now they're doing 12 pay-per-views a year. But this is an odd point in WCW's history. So this happened in I don't have the exact date in front of me, but it was April of 1994, so about 29 years ago. And it is right before, and they mentioned him a lot, especially in the main event. This is 2 months before Hulk Hogan would sign with WCW and everything would change.
Yeah, what was the one thing? It was Ric Flair invited Hulk Hogan to
Yeah,
the front row seat here, and then they're like looking around.
Probably he gets up and he looks around. I can't see him. Like nobody would notice. Oh, he's sitting over there. We missed the Hulkster.
Yeah,
it's funny. I was at the pay-per-view after this, the month after this, in May of 94. It was Slamboree, and they mentioned it on the show a bunch. It was in Philly, and I was there. It was at the old Civic Center, and they did have a person who was making their debut who was in the front row, and that was Sherry. Sherry was in the front row on that show, and she would wind up with Flair as Flair's manager.
Andy, just real quick for our audio listeners, Andy just pulled out a Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
And I had a double take because I thought maybe you bought the flaming hot Doritos.
Oh, no, I refuse to buy it.
You won't even try it?
No, because it's probably terrible. I like hot soda to me does not sound interesting.
We had a hot soda the one time at Not Cool, right? Wasn't it like a Reaper soda or something like that?
I don't remember. I don't think.
Yeah. I just think cheesy hot soda would be gross.
I don't think it's cheesy. I think it's like
it's the flaming hot.
I think it's like a spicy citrus.
He's drinking the Major Melon.
See, to me, that's just like Mexican hats, or what do they call them? The spicy Mexican.
Yeah, cinnamon,
candy.
but apparently it's not
candy.
cinnamon. But they're like they make not to side tangent, but there's a lot of Latin candy that is spicy.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like,
that's
the Walmart has a bunch like spicy papaya, spicy pineapple, all kinds of stuff.
Anyway. Well, we had the spicy beer at Brewfest.
Yes. Oh my God.
There was a lot of like jalapeno infused beer, and there was one that was like ghost pepper, and it was like
it was a stout.
Was it good or not?
It was hot.
I loved it. It was
a spicy hot stout.
See, you drink that, and then you want to buy another drink because you're so thirsty after drinking the hot.
Yeah.
So not that one.
That was our friends over at the North Brewing Company in New York, and also big professional wrestling fans.
Oh, cool.
Yes, they are. They had title belts up in their tent.
Yeah.
So this show is I think it came after Super Brawl, which would have been in March or February. Maybe they didn't have a March pay-per-view this year. Maybe they did like Wrestle War or the Great American Bash or something. So Ric Flair is your champion. He's a WCW champion. He is a babyface, which was at this point. And we'll kind of go through what's going on in WCW throughout the show. We'll do it. It's from the Rosemont Horizon.
Yeah, but like even April '94, 1 year later, things will be a lot really different for a lot of people.
Yeah. We're at the Rosemont Horizon, which is right outside of Chicago. It's where they did WrestleMania 13 with the I Quit match with Brett and Austin. It's where they did a third of WrestleMania 2. Yeah, so
a third.
So
yeah, because it was in New York, it was in Chicago, and it was in LA. But they did a big video package. So I love this. They did a 2-minute video package at the beginning of the show where if you were kind of brand new to it, you could kind of get an impression of where everything was going. I
wish more shows would do this.
Like get up to speed. Yeah. I always liked the Vince rundown when he used to go over the matches. It used to always be the Royal Rumble. Yeah, you're pumped too.
Yeah, the way he would do it, just like going over everybody's name, like everybody's the most exciting guy ever. It was like Iron Mike Sharp and
Jim Duggan.
Speaking of Iron, not wrestling, well, kind of wrestling related because he's been in wrestling. Did you see the news today? Some guy decided that he was going to get blackout drunk on a plane in first class, and guess who was sitting in front of him? Iron Mike Tyson.
Oh, Mike Tyson.
And he decided he was going to heckle and mess with Iron Mike Tyson
Yeah.
drunk on a plane.
That guy watched The Hangover too much.
Well, this guy got beat the fuck up
I bet.
on a plane
I
by
bet.
Iron Mike Tyson.
Good
Yeah.
for Mike too.
That's awesome. I didn't see that.
Bleeding from his head. Like
Did
Mike
they have to land? I wonder.
Shut the fuck
No.
up back there.
I think they just moved Mike to a different seat because like everyone videotaped. Well, one guy videotaped it, like his buddy, and he's like, my friend got punched. All he did was ask for an autograph, but he forgot that everyone else also seen the videos of your friend tormenting him for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but Mike fucking just had
Oh, wow.
enough
Didn't
Good for
see it.
Mike.
and just beat the fuck out of this guy on the plane. It's awesome. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we have the national anthem to start. It was done by Aaron Neville. I think has the best physique on the show.
Yeah, I was like, I fast forward it. But yeah, the physique, they bring that up a lot of times. Like with them arms there, Neville might get in his match.
Yeah.
And then our opener is it seemed like every WCW pay-per-view from 1993 until he left at the end of 95. I think the guy in the opener was Johnny B. Bad.
Yeah.
And this
still
one's
real
no
quick.
different.
Good physique on Johnny.
Hey, looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
You-
Vince wanted him. But Vince also wanted the gimmick and didn't know he wasn't getting the gimmick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he thought he was getting Johnny B. Bad. And he was like, oh, he can't be Johnny B. Bad. He was a little upset, but that's funny.
He's like,
Wow,
well,
Mark
kind of
Mark.
like the girl you're with.
Yeah. Yeah, but they didn't know that was like the bonus.
Yeah. That worked out well for them.
Yeah, well, she was never on TV in WCW.
Yeah.
If you don't know, Johnny B. Bad was at that time married to Sable.
Mm-hmm.
That is how Sable got into wrestling.
Yes.
But not a bad match between him and
No,
DDP.
yeah, I was
It was him and
surprised
DDP.
how
Yeah.
heavy DDP was here. Especially now he's been in good shape
this
for
was,
30
like,
years.
Right when he was starting again, like he was starting to wrestle, is it not?
He was around for a little bit.
He was about
more
a year.
manager.
He was about probably like
He was
2 or
more
3
the
years in.
manager,
Yeah, he still had the goofy gimmicks with the glasses and the cigar
Yeah.
and everything.
And he had a
Yeah.
hot wife at the
Oh, I
time.
was just gonna say, Kimberly,
Yes.
the Diamond Doll looked smoking hot here.
That's the one.
Kimberly
He
Where,
was
Page
on
was-
fire.
that's the one that her boob falls out in the movie, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in
40-year-old virgin.
40-year-old
Virgin.
virgin.
Yeah, she was so hot I had to get a drink.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
just thinking
yeah.
about it. I need
The
a little
outfit.
sip
I
of,
was like, holy
a
shit!
sip of water over here.
And
No,
she
Bobby
get and
from
she had a
Mark Maron's
gift for
body.
Bobby the Brain.
Yeah,
Oh,
Can we
and
get-
by the way, Bobby and Tony Schiavone.
I thought,
God.
I thought they were great together.
They
Yeah.
were.
Bobby was still like he wasn't in his don't give a fuck mode, and neither was Tony. They're both like, hey, we care about this.
I thought Shivani back then had some really good chemistry with Ventura too.
Mm-hmm.
Shivani was really good on this show,
Yeah.
especially in the main event.
This whole card, top to bottom, was just fun.
yeah,
It was a fun pay per view.
Yeah.
Like if I ordered this, I would not be upset with it.
Yeah, back then it was maybe 30 at the most, maybe.
I think it was like closer to
been
like
20?
25, like
Yeah,
24.95. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I missed 2 matches, but the whole card was fun so far.
yeah. But the first match, it was a good opening match. Johnny Bad wins with the
Flying
flip off
Sunset
the
Flip.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he did that.
DDP was still a little rough around the edges, but he was mainly a manager, and he was maybe like 2 years in the wrestling at this point.
Yeah,
And yeah, he would get in a lot better shape, and he would get a lot better very quickly. And a lot of it was working with Johnny B. Bad.
Yeah.
They apparently liked wrestling each other a lot, and it's the same reason DDP liked wrestling Savage, because they were two guys that like to script everything in their match. They like to
Yeah.
have the whole thing planned out.
every single thing. And I don't think he might not have had the diamond cutter yet.
I don't think so.
because
No.
they didn't say it yet or anything.
I don't think so, because the first time I saw that move done kind of was a little before this at Starrcade 93. Jimmy Garvin wrestles out of nowhere. And I think he wrestled Johnny B. Bad, as a matter of fact. And he does it, and they call it the 911.
Oh god.
Well, here's a quick question for you. Now that we live in an age where the super kick is overused, do you think there's too many cutters?
Yeah, it could be. I can see that
Yeah.
argument.
Just asking.
You know, a lot of people do it, and I do it a lot. A lot of people do. I mean, it kind of has transitioned to
But there's like people
a
who
move
do-
like a DDT. which
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
a
like the
myth, and now
DDT
it's
was
just
an
a move.
ECW, yeah. Because in this point in 94, around 94, like, if you're Jake Roberts, the DDT is still a finisher. DDT used to be a finisher. Now, yeah, it's just like a little transition thing.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
One move we saw a lot on this show that you don't ever see anymore, the abdominal stretch.
Yes, that was showed up like 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
I think.
The only
Nobody
guy that
does it
used it
anymore.
recently was Biggie, and then we give you like a slap you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Can you bring back the back rake? Can you add that
Yeah.
to your move?
Some people do that. Hogan, that was Hogan's big thing. Was
I love
Yeah.
the back rake.
I always like the nerve pinch. Like they would just pinch the
yeah.
shoulder there.
There was someone, I forget who it was, but when Brian Danson was healing ROH, he was wrestling somebody, and he's doing like nothing special. They're chanting boring. He's like, "You want boring?" Whips him off the ropes, puts him in the abdominal stretch, and goes, "How's that for boring?"
So our next match was for the WCW TV title, the World Television title. It's Flying Brian Pillman. I think it was just Flying Brian at this point.
It was just Flying
Yeah,
Brian.
he lost his last name for a little bit.
Against Lord Steven Regal with Sir William.
Yeah, Sir William, who was definitely a Englishman.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes, totally. Not Australian at all.
No.
A few wonky spots in this match when Regal's trying to throw him off the post, and Regal and Brian doesn't know where he's going, and then
There was one where like Regal's going to pick him up.
I was sitting watching it and I'm like, oh, Tony's gonna love this one. And they're counting down because I knew exactly what was gonna happen.
Well,
Like,
this was
oh,
Regal's
boy.
gimmick. This was every month. He would do. He would run out the clock and do a 15-minute draw like every month.
yeah.
That was his purpose. Like he can't beat him, so he'll just run the clock out. But even though he's really good.
Yeah, if it's part of your story, I don't mind it. But like, I don't know. I'm not even gonna get into it no more. I'm beating a dead horse.
and this is kind of a low point with Pillman because Bill Watts is gone now, but Bill Watts had the whole thing where he wanted Brian Pillman to take a pay cut, and Brian Pillman was like, no. He was like, well, I'm going to job you out. And Pillman said, I will be the highest paid opening match jobber in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So
if you didn't want the pay cut, you didn't.
Because all of WCW's contracts were guaranteed.
Yeah.
And so actually the day of this show, Pillman signed a new deal, but it was a Bischoff, so I'm sure the deal was different. But the time between when the Hollywood Blondes broke up, and that was one of the great tag teams of the early 90s, it was Pillman and Steve Austin. From the time they broke up to the time Pillman joins the Horsemen was really kind of just a darker, like a low point in Pillman's career.
Mm-hmm.
But Regal did some fun stuff. I like the STF into the abdominal stretch. That was fun. Puts a knee on the hip, just transitioning from one submission to the other. But yeah, it does go to a 15-minute time limit draw here.
Yeah.
And we
did talk and they did go up over the top rope and went to the bottom, like to tease it. I'm like, wait a minute. Or was that their match? That was that was this match, right?
Yeah.
And they got back in, and like when they go the 30 seconds left and Brian Pillman goes up top for the 10 punches, like, what are you doing? There's only 30 seconds to pin. So like, but they went when they went over the top rope. I'm like, wasn't over the top rope disqualification? Only sometimes.
Yeah, only later tonight.
Because Bill not Bill Dundee. He had nothing to do with this match.
Yeah, Bill Dundee. What are you talking about him for?
Yeah, Bill Watts put that rule where if you throw someone over the top rope, it's a disqualification. Now,
or if you
go
jump off the top rope.
Yeah, he couldn't jump off the top. That's so dumb.
Jesus. It's a DQ.
Like the international
There'd be DQs all over the place nowadays.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
DQs everywhere.
It's like control your narrative back in the they were the control your narrative before control your narrative.
Yeah.
Well, the whole idea was it's this old school thing. We have a lot of rules so heels can break them, because if you're a heel, you break the rules.
Yeah.
That's the next match there with Steve Austin and
we got a match before that. We had a heck of a match before that. But even before that, we go backstage. Jesse Ventura kind of got taken off of commentary because they had Heenan, so they had him doing backstage interviews, and he does them with Bunkhouse Buck and Colonel Parker.
Oh, I see. Bunkhouse Buck.
He's not bathing.
I was thinking because he said something about working, and I don't know. I liked Colonel Robert Parker, even though he was a little over the top even for 94.
Yeah, this is very cartoony, but yeah, he's like Foghorn Leghorn, but he's dressed like Boss Hogg.
Yeah.
That's Colonel Robert Parker.
And they would call him Colonel Sanders and chant KFC at him.
And there was buckets of KFC.
Yeah. And
they were holding buckets of like empty buckets.
Because he does look
KFC
like the Colonel. He has white hair.
Like,
actually, that bucket of KFC was actually his cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colonel Robert Parker.
And then Bunkhouse Buck, of course, from the town of Bucksnort, Tennessee.
Yeah, because he's Bunkhouse. What a name, Bunkhouse Buck.
So they're just promoting. They're setting up the table for the Bunkhouse match later. But before that, we have Falls Count Anywhere for the WCW Tag Team titles. One of the wildest matches under 10 minutes you'll ever see. The Nasty Boys defending against Cactus Jack and Max Payne.
Yeah, for a second, it turned into an ECW pay-per-view.
Yeah.
This is the segment that kind of provided the template for Public Enemy tag matches for the rest of their career.
Yeah. It is weird because I was like, wow, Nasty Boys should have went to ECW. They would have got over.
Dude, they were about it.
Yeah.
They were nuts.
Max Payne might have showed up in ECW. I'm not sure.
That last table shot at the very end, he fucking tattoos him with that.
Oh, they were the Nasties are throwing live rounds the whole time.
Yeah, they used to say Nasty Boys would hit you hard for real, like all the time, even
Yeah.
not in a weapons match. And this was like anything goes, and they go into that definitely not fake merch stand and just trash it out. But $20 for the T-shirt, I would have paid $20.
They
for
should
the
sell that. It's a souvenir now.
Oh, that's why I was watching. I'm like, is this a fake T-shirt stand? Or
Yeah, why
is
would
this-
it be there? No
Why
one can go there.
Why
Yeah.
was and there's
It's-
just a few little shirts and 2 empty
It's
tables.
totally
I
an
don't get
accessible
it.
area
Yeah,
behind the
fans can
guardrail.
go there.
Well, they
With a
did a
WCW shirt and a Nasty Boy shirt.
they did a similar match with the Nasty Boys, and I think it was Harlem Heat a year later at WCW Uncensored. And Uncensored was in Tupelo, so they made a fake concession stand,
Yeah,
and they recreated the legendary Tupelo concession stand brawl,
I
which
think
is
there's-
where all these matches go back to the Tupelo
Yeah.
concession stand brawl, which I
there is-
believe Bill Dundee was in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to say it was Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee against the Larry Latham and the Honky Tonk Man. Wade
Yeah.
Barrett.
for those that don't know, Bill Dundee was William Regal's manager.
Yeah,
So-
Sir William is Bill Dundee.
There was one match. It might have been Public Enemy versus Harlem Heat or something, where they do go to the actual merch stand because there's all kinds of shirts and they're just like banging off. Like look like the people are like, get out of here. But anyway, this match was pretty good. But that fucking shovel shot when like
Oh, the feed shovel.
Jerry
yeah.
Sags is like raising it up and he's like, okay, put your hands up. Oh, you're not gonna. I'm just gonna pop you right in the head. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. And that's how
Yeah, and
they
then
beat
he
Cactus.
does a chair shot with the edge of the chair, like the
Yeah.
front of the seat. He doesn't fold the chair. And yeah, and I love like Shivani goes like, nobody's even trying to pin anybody. And he goes, well, that's wrestling, Tony. This isn't wrestling.
Yeah, dude, fucking Bobby was so good.
Yeah, and they were putting each other through tables and not even catching it on the camera. And they had like the split screen, but it still wasn't like it was. It
The,
was
the
chaos.
split screen was terrible. They were like little.
Yeah, two little things. And you
squares.
seen more not screen.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you
what
see
the
more
fuck?
of the border and Spring Stampede logo than you did the actual screen.
And you gotta remember, this is 1994 when there wasn't as many big screen TVs either.
Yeah,
That's
so you're
true,
like,
yeah.
what, I think he's
It was
doing
tiny
this.
probably then.
Yeah, Cactus just gets, like you said, brained in the head with a shovel.
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
Just whacked in the head with a
At
shovel.
the very end, it looked like he was legit fuzzy.
yeah, like he really whacked him
Yeah.
with that shovel at the end.
And then they
Incredible.
try to do a pile driver through the table, but the table breaks. So they just take Cactus Jack and shove them as hard as they can off the ramp.
Psychopaths.
And
Yeah,
that's the three. And yeah, then the match is over. They just run and clock Max Payne in the head with a table.
Yeah, poor Max Payne. And he
So
wasn't long for WCW after that. And
Well, he got
after
hurt.
WCW, yeah.
he hurt his knee because the next month is in Philly. That Slamboree was. It was supposed to be the Sullivans. It was supposed to be Kevin and Dave Sullivan, Evad Sullivan.
Yeah.
But I think Dave Sullivan also hurt his knee. So it winds up being Cactus Jack and Kevin Sullivan in a Philly street fight, which was very similar to this against the Nasty Boys.
What was Mick's shirt on?
Dad
Super Dad.
something? Yeah, Super,
Super
Dad.
Dad.
Yeah.
I think it was something like they called him in because he was gonna have time off, and he was gonna have like some kind of surgery to fix his ear. But
They kept talking about his ear was
Because his ear was just not so much before this. His ear was ripped off.
What was that,
off in
92?
Germany or something.
93, yeah, in
Yeah,
Germany.
year
Yeah.
prior.
He came back from Germany with no ear.
It was a match with Vader.
Vader.
And WCW would use elevator cable for their ropes. They didn't wear like WWE where they would use like just rope. They used elevator cable. And Too Cold Scorpio was in one of the early matches, and he complained that the ropes were too loose, so they tightened them like crazy. They were super tightened. And Cactus would do this thing where he would catch his head and his head between
What do
the
you call
top
it?
and
Like
middle rope.
a suicide rope or something like that?
The
he would call
hangman
it?
spot. He'd
Yeah,
call it
the
the hangman spot.
Yeah.
And he would just like be hanging, and he's like he couldn't get unstuck from the ropes, and the ropes were so tight that as he was wrestling Vader, and Vader's idea is I'm just gonna hit him in the head as hard as I can, and that'll get him out. So he's sliding out of the ropes, and the rope catches his ear and literally ripped the top 2/3 of his ear off.
I thought it
Yeah.
ripped the whole ear off.
No,
No,
has
he still has a little low part at
Yeah.
the bottom.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
top part's gone though.
And then the referee picks it up and puts it in his pocket.
Yeah.
Vader also had a match too where he got poked in the eye and, and he looks at the ref and his eyeball is out of his head.
Oh,
And
he
just goes-
was wearing a full mask, and that was the only thing
Yeah.
that kept his eye in.
yeah,
a
and he
little
just
bit.
pushed it back in and kept wrestling.
he was badass apparently. My
Dude,
dad
they're-
used to love
They're
Vader.
fucking psychopaths.
I love Vader. Vader's
Uh,
one of the best.
Did we
big
do
men
a
ever.
Vader episode yet?
Yes.
That
We
was one
did?
of the first episodes I
Yeah.
did when I joined the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I still have my WCW made like the hard figures that didn't move. I still have my Vader
Yeah, I lost everything. I'm so bummed.
from like 90.
One of these days,
time.
one of these
94.
days, I'm gonna get fucking famous and rich
and
and
buy everything you had.
and just rebuy all my childhood. And I just love it.
Also, that match at Slamboree after this with Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack, the special guest referee for that match was Dave the Hammer Schultz of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh wow,
the legendary hockey goon.
Yeah,
and I remember, I remember one of the wrestling magazines at the time said, much like during his hockey career, Dave Schultz was holding a stick for no reason.
Yeah.
So New Japan has confirmed their first match for the Washington D.C. Capital Collision show, and the match will be AEW star Eddie Kingston versus Ishii.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
It is official.
I don't know when that show is.
Capital Collision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like Capital Combat.
Yeah. Now, yeah, with RoboCop.
Oh, Ryan Vox in the house saying this is my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
This is definitely my wheelhouse too. Yeah. I could talk about old WCW all day.
Well, New Japan's heating back up at the resubscribe to the New Japan World.
Yeah, please do so I can borrow
some
that
good
off you.
stuff. Although the pay-per-view will not. You have to. There's some like you have to pay more for the
Yeah.
pay-per-view. And I was like, okay, I see you. Because why would everyone in America just sign up for New Japan World $9.99 a month, watch the pay-per-view, for $9.99 as opposed to $50? So I get it.
Yeah.
Put Stardom on there. Anyway.
Backstage, Jesse is now with Johnny B. Bad, who challenges the winner of Austin Muda, and that's our next match.
Boy, does Johnny B. Bad have a not Johnny B. Bad, does Jesse have a funky haircut?
Yeah, he has
I
like
was wondering
the
that. It's
ponytail.
like the massive rat tail on.
Yeah.
He's just hanging on to it. He's hanging on to what little he has left.
It's like a massive rat tail in the
And like, and they would let the rest just grow. And
Yeah.
But that was back when the rat tail was big too, in the
Yeah, it was
early
still-
90s.
And
was
the
the
lizard
style in
people
the
to
mid '90s,
in the back of the neck when the lizard people come to the audience. So I had to put the long ponytail down so the lizard people can't get me.
Oh.
yeah, but that, wrestling sometimes hairstyles don't update for about 10 years.
The
after.
back of my neck is off the grid.
I conditioned my hair with thermite.
We are doing
The
no
body.
justice. We need Killer Cross.
Yeah. Maybe he's the guy we're gonna have on next week. You never know.
Oh, that might be.
Oh.
If you're still watching, like I said, we have the big guest announcement. Who's your predictions? Our biggest guest ever. I'm curious who you guys think it might be.
It's Ryan
Say that-
Vox again. I'm letting the cat out of the bag.
Don't do the huge announcement because that's people's mind for a while.
Yeah.
Who's the higher
We have
power?
a huge announcement.
Yeah.
It's CM Punk.
We have a huge announcement.
Big
So,
announcement next week.
Two all-time greats here in this match for the U.S. title. Stunning Steve Austin, not quite Stone Cold yet, against the great Muda.
Steve Austin with hair.
Yeah,
And great mood with hair. So
Did Steve lose his hair? Or did he cut?
he lost.
he tapped out the hair loss, as Joe Rogan said.
Yeah, and so did Great Muda. Then he got
Steve had
Yes.
some nice hair.
he did have some nice hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he
Nice
first
blonde,
started, it was
yeah.
a lot longer. When he was first stunning Steve and he was the TV champion, his hair was much longer.
Ryan Vox is five time.
Booker T.
Are you saying Booker T's our special guest?
No, he was going to be a 5-time guest. He's going to be on the
Oh,
5-timers
okay,
club.
okay.
He gets a
Oh,
jacket
yeah.
and everything. Muda does the abdominal stretch here, and the brain says he's beaten a lot of people with this. I want to see one match that the Great Muda won with the abdominal stretch.
I think maybe the brain thought it was the octopus hold.
Yeah.
maybe.
From
Yeah.
that thing in Japan. I'm like, or Cobra Twist, which
I think the brain was talking out his ass. I don't think the brain ever saw an octopus hold. I don't
yeah,
think the
I've probably never seen Muda
Yeah.
wrestle before.
Yeah.
no.
And Muda
And
had a
the-
hot run in '91 in WCW. Or was it? No,
Yeah.
was it in '89 and then '90?
He's like a TV champion, had a big feud with Sting.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bash 89. He has a match with Sting, and then that was the first Halloween Havoc that year, and that's when they do the match in the cage, where it's Muda and Funk against Sting and Flair, and they had like all these things on the set of the cage, and they had fireworks too, and the fireworks caught like some of the set on fire, like some of the things they had
Oh,
hanging on
yeah.
the cage like a vine, and Muda tries to put out the fire with his mist.
Yeah.
Incredible.
What a good brother.
Yeah.
And then right around this time too, I think he started being Kenji Muto in New Japan.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause-
95.
Muda was in the video games, right?
Yeah, but
Before
like
that. It was before
Yeah,
that.
I think it was before that because they WCW would bring him in and out. He wasn't like a main in
Yeah.
WCW.
Real quick, Ryan Vox, if you have any announcements for Outbreak this Sunday, we talked a little bit about Outbreak, and after our guests next Saturday, after our guests next week, we are going to probably end the stream and then do another, like maybe a back-to-back or do a preview, but we're going to do an Outbreak preview next week after our guest spot. But if you want to announce, if you have any announcements or if you're allowed to, anything you want to put out there for the show next week for Outbreak.
I'm just thinking of Brother Love now. Our guest next week.
Yeah.
Brother Vox.
Brother Snake, what do you have to say?
Maybe that's our guest.
Snake Roberts.
Maybe it's Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah, hey, Bruce. Bruce came and do his own show.
Yeah. Lee Everett. Everett. I did it again.
Hey.
Everett Lee.
There was a wrestler, and his
Dyslexia gets you every time, Tony.
It gets me. Hanging out with
that was Dave Sullivan. His name was Evad, but you said Dave because he was dyslexic.
I believe this Lee Everett had an Amish gimmick actually, or the name was very similar to Lee Everett.
Was a musician or
a local,
Everett,
a local guy.
All right, next match.
So Austin gets the win here because apparently in this match, over the top rope is DQs.
Yeah, for the United States.
And Moon gets disqualified for throwing Steve Austin over the top rope. And then he's angry, so he gives Austin and Colonel Parker a pescado.
Yeah. And then Brain was like, he's got that long flight. He's going to have to take that 14-hour flight back, and he doesn't want to go without the title. I'm like,
I don't think he cares so much.
Yeah. Yeah, he got that.
No miss, too. Maybe that was a downside. No miss
from
Muda match.
That's
a bummer.
Yeah.
So then Ventura's doing
more.
He's doing a promo with Dustin Rhodes now. There's a big difference between the TN Texas and the TN Tennessee.
Yeah.
Is there?
Nah, it's a T. They're both capitalized. They're very similar. But the next match is for the WCW International title.
There it is.
Yeah, with some of the best entrance music of this time. Rick Rude's entrance music was so good.
Yes.
Sting versus Rick Rude for the international title.
So
they broke away, and then.
So what happened was when WCW started, when Turner bought Crockett, there was a separation between WCW and the NWA. And in 1991, you get the WCW heavyweight title or world heavyweight title, which is one Flair has on this show. But then they start to get friendly with the NWA again. And in late 92, when Bill Watts is running things, they bring the NWA title back into WCW.
So real quick, and I'm going to sound like a complete loser, idiot, because I don't know everything about the history of WCW. Mm-hmm. So WCW is like an offspring of what company?
Jim Crockett Promotions.
Jim Crockett Promotions,
which was based. So the NWA, anyone could be affiliated with the NWA, right? Like we could start a promotion, and we could have been with the NWA. We weren't the NWA.
Yeah,
we were, Tornado Tag Wrestling affiliate of the NWA. Yeah. So Jim Crockett Promotions wasn't the NWA, but it was the most famous promotion that the NWA had.
Yeah, by the time the late 80s rolled around, the NWA had gotten into such a state that, for all intents and purposes, it was the NWA. Yeah. Like, I think Crockett just had total control over it. Jim Crockett Jr. had total control over it. He could basically change the title whenever
this was Dusty, this was Flair, this was
because the NWA, when it started like that, was an alliance. Like, it was literally you would have your own promotion and you would join this alliance, and they kept their borders, so that's how you kept your territory. And they looked out for each other. Like, if somebody tried to invade your territory, they would send all the stars from all around the NWA to do super shows to kind of squash out anybody that tried to compete with you. And they had a traveling champion, and they would have a board of directors. They would all meet in Las Vegas once a year, and they would vote on who should be the champion. And you had to vote to approve title changes and things like that. But then by the time,
and they had to pay money to be a part of the NWA. So that's how the NWA made money.
And then by the time. And then if you had the NWA champion on your show, the NWA got a percentage of your house because it would be a big house. The NWA would get a percentage, and the champion would get 10% of the gate or something like that. Right. But at this point, the NWA, when Ted Turner Sports buys Jim Crockett Promotions, they kept the NWA thing going for a while, but then it goes away, and Ric Flair becomes the WCW World Champion, and the NWA kind of starts.
Now, were they always WCW, or was it World Championship Wrestling? Like, did they always abbreviate it?
Stands for.
I'm saying, did they always abbreviate it, or was it like "Welcome to World Championship Wrestling"? Like, or was it
World Championship Wrestling was the name of the TV show?
Yeah. So when it was still Jim Crockett Promotions, NWA,
it's very confusing.
Yeah, then the Saturday show was World Championship Wrestling,
Okay.
but it was NWA. So imagine if it was
So
instead of Monday Night Raw, it
WCW was part of
World Championship
NWA for a little bit, essentially. It was under the umbrella of like because it was a TV show.
well, Jim Crockett Promotion. So
Yeah.
yeah, so which basically was the NWA. So like WCW was Raw.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So it was a show.
Yeah.
And then when Turner's like, wait a minute, I don't need them, and I can get all the money. Let's make it WCW, and that's what he did.
Okay.
So he took the show name and made it the organization.
I wonder.
Around
I
what
wonder.
It's
time
kind of
was
like how
that
TNA became Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, I would always. I'm curious of why we like. I mean, WCW
It was
obviously
confusing,
is a
especially-
great name for
Yeah.
a show, World Championship Wrestling, but then also like that should be the name of our entire promotion.
So basically,
Like-
it was Jim Crockett presents NWA Wrestling WCW. So it was World
Holy
Championship Wrestling brought to you by the NWA,
Jesus Christ!
presented by Jim Crockett. Promotion.
Could you
Yeah, the
imagine that?
NWA was supposed to be like a sanctioning body.
Yeah, it was,
It's like
What was in the middle of the ring?
3 degrees of Jim
NWA.
Crockett promotion.
NWA.
or nothing. Yeah. So none of the titles were WCW. They were all NWA. It's very
And
confusing.
the ring skirts look like they said AWA,
yes,
which made it
because
look,
the
Yeah.
N and the A were the same, but it looked like it's A. And then you'd be like, wait, that's AWA? That was a stupid logo. I hated that.
all right. I'm learning.
So then, after about a year or so, when Bill Watts is running WCW, they bring the NWA title back. And
Which is
Masa-
the big gold.
yeah, the
logo.
big gold belt.
Yeah.
That would later just become the World Heavyweight title in WWE. And Chono had it because it was New Japan and WCW were getting involved with the NWA. So Masahiro Chono from Japan was the initial champion when they brought it back. And then he lost it to Muta. Muta loses it to Barry Windham. Barry Windham loses it to Flair. And then they wanted Flair to lose it to Rick Rude. And they do a title change at a pay-per-view in 1993. But the NWA says, we didn't approve that title change. The NWA has to approve all title changes, and we wanted Flair to keep the title. So very quickly, they just kind of get rid of the NWA naming of it. And it becomes, for a while, they just called it the world title. And then they make up this bogus governing body called WCW International. And at this point, Vader was the champion, the WCW champion. So like, WCW recognizes Vader as the world heavyweight champion, but WCW International says that Rick Rude is the world heavyweight champion. So they basically had 2 world titles, even though the only one that was counted as a world title was the one Flair had,
Yeah.
even though this one was a cooler belt.
Yeah.
Now,
And they very shortly after this, they unified them both.
now this is you said big gold. That's
Yeah. So
what
like,
became WCW's World Championship.
yes.
Yeah.
So throughout the Attitude Era, the main WCW World
Mhm.
title, that's the international title.
They unified it a few months after this. They did a match with Ric Flair and Sting were the champions. Sting had the big gold belt, and Flair had the WCW title, which kind of looked like a tag title.
Yeah.
And they do a unification match. Flair wins, but then they just make the big gold belt the WCW title.
Interesting. So that main title that Goldberg and then they brought to WWE and then Triple H and stuff
Mhm.
had, that's been that title the entire time.
Since 80.
The mid 80s.
That's crazy.
That belt also never said NWA and it never said WCW on it.
World
Is it
Heavyweight Wrestling Champion is what it
Yep.
says. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then WWE, when they first adapted it, it was there, right? And then didn't say anything, but then it's like, we gotta put that WWE on there, and then we gotta curve it a little bit. Which because WCW they curved it and they curved it even more in WWE.
Interesting.
Some
Dudes at ringside, for last guest. Thank you guys for hanging out with us over on the YouTube
Yeah.
side.
how you doing?
Like I said, if you guys are listening live or you're watching later, head over to the YouTube. We're very, very close to our 100 subscriber mark. So if you can give us a subscribe on there, tell your friends, make a post for us, be like, hey, these dudes are kind of cool, and Kelly's pretty, and Andy has nice hair. Can you at least give them a sub so they can get to their goal? That'd be beautiful. Thank you guys so much. What do we
Kelly
got?
just starts doing like that.
Ryan Vox says the Crown Championship was sweet. I need a replica.
He's talking a big gold.
I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, I think
have
they had a
crown.
crown at the top. Yeah.
Oh
they did
yeah,
have
the
a
crown. Yeah, that was because it was to get really dorky. So belts are 4 millimeters, right? And then when they're stacked, that means there's another piece of metal on top, and the crown
Yeah.
on top with jewels in it. It was very nice.
Yeah.
And it was also dual plated, which made it was gold and silver.
And that was the big gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm learning history.
Yeah,
Back-
I am too. So
I'm
Back
not
to
going to
the
sit here and
match here.
pretend that I'm like this giant wrestling historian. Like, I'm a wrestling fan, but there's things I missed.
Oh, just
in this pay-per-view, I was 8. We
Yeah.
were 8.
I mean, I was still watching
You
wrestling.
were probably 7. I was probably no, I might have been still 7 too.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I was
then-
watching wrestling, but there was only one thing that was able to grace my eyes at this time.
Was-
and it,
yeah.
and it
I
wasn't.
wasn't
No,
getting.
I
I wasn't
wasn't-
watching WCW.
I didn't
live.
discriminate.
this is
I
when
did
I
not
was starting to
discriminate.
really get into ECW.
Yeah, because ECW was just about starting to fire.
Yeah.
That was the WCW championship that Ron Simmons had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one's a nice belt. You
Yeah.
don't see too many replicas of that.
I always think of that as the Vader title.
Yeah.
That's the Vader title to me. So before this match can even start, they cut off Rick Rude's whole what I'd like to have
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now
That
is for
son of a
all
bitch.
you fat,
Yeah, out
out of shape, inner city sweat So
His
that
tights
gets
were something else too.
Yeah, Rick Rude looked fantastic.
Where does Rick Rude rank on your Hawkeye list?
Yeah.
Not very much.
Oh,
Really?
No.
You have no taste.
What about body? Just body.
Oh,
no-
body, yeah. When his ass came out, like his moon came out, I'm like, oh, he has a nice perky male ass,
And-
which
and then it
most
doesn't
men
go
don't
away, right?
have.
But that mustache doesn't do it for you.
No.
And those abs and that hair.
No.
Oh, the
And
body.
Fucking.
Yeah.
he was
Bang.
clean shaven for a little bit. It
Bang.
looks so weird.
The body, yes. The face,
Yeah.
no.
I'm very comfortable with my sexuality, but man, Rick Rude.
Yeah, he did
No.
get rid of the mustache.
He had a hell of a nice ass for a man, though. I will say that.
There you go.
When Rick Rude did the stubble, like towards the end, like manager
Oh,
Rick
the
Rude,
beard, yeah.
I was like, man, this.
And
dude
he
looks,
was trying to
He
wrestle
looks like a
again.
fucking Western villain. Yeah.
I wish he would have been able to wrestle, but they wouldn't buy out that stupid Lloyd's in London. Anyway, yeah. What's his name comes out?
Took it
Harley
to the side
Race.
tangent
Harley
there,
Race
sorry.
comes out and interrupts Rick Rude. I was like, ah.
And Harley Race is there because Vader would like to challenge the winner of this match. So whether it's Rude or Sting, Vader wants the winner. And he does this, and he's like, "Oh, and I'm just going to try to hit Sting too." While I'm
Yeah.
here."
For no reason.
Yeah.
So Sting fires back, and then he goes after Rude, and then the crowd is so hot for Sting. Sting is just so
He's
over at
He's
this
their
point.
Hogan.
And until they get Hogan in 2
Yeah.
months. But the other thing that happened here, the whole way this match comes together on WCW Saturday Night, Rude had already said Sting's had enough shots. He's not getting any more shots. I refuse to wrestle Sting. I'm not going to sign the contract to wrestle Sting. But after one of his matches, a fan comes up and asks for an autograph, and Rick Rude signs the autograph. And then later on, Sting comes out with that fan that was with Rick Rude. It turns out Rick Rude signed the autograph on carbon paper, and under the carbon paper was a contract to wrestle Sting at Spring
There you go.
Stampede. And in the world of pro wrestling, this is very much legally binding.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's legit.
There's no signing a contract by deception, and that's not real.
Yeah.
No, this is a legally binding contract now, and there's no way out of it.
Just
That's
like
how-
if
Even
you
though
win a
it's carbon
match,
paper.
you can
That's-
get property of a person
Yeah, fun fact. That's
or
how
a child.
That's how I am now married to Heidi.
Oh, you won a match.
I did. No, I had her sign an autograph. And I was like,
No.
"Oh, are you Jennifer Lopez?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Just sign this." And she's like, "What name?" I said, "Your real name." And then I was like, "Now we're married." Been 15
You
years.
trapped her.
Yeah,
Trapped
her.
entrapment.
There's no way I got her with my looks.
That fabulous hair. You have fabulous hair.
I didn't have it at the time. Yeah, but I stinged her. I gave her the old stinger.
And then, as we mentioned earlier, Rude's part of his ass is exposed here,
Bobby
Yep.
Heenan said about the moon being out.
and he takes a backdrop and does like a full flip.
Yeah,
It almost
I
lands on
noticed
his
that.
feet,
I was like, Rick Rude could have did a 450.
and he's a big guy too.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say he looked pretty tall, but then
Yeah.
again I've learned
He's
looks can be
probably about
deceiving on
Sting
television.
Sting's actually tall. He's probably about a legit 6'3".
Rick
I don't know.
Rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Rude was also super strong. He had a reputation he was a bouncer, and he had a
Mhm.
reputation for being able to knock people out with open hand slaps.
Wow.
Jesus.
And he was a high level arm wrestler as well.
That was
so-
big.
And a great hip swiveler.
Mhm.
Yes. And some of the greatest tights ever. Like
Yes, some of those.
he
tights,
infamously
man.
had Jake the Snake's wife on his tights when they had the feud.
Best
Um,
kisser too. Ladies in the crowd would always get a kiss.
Oh yeah.
Around this time, he would always have. I remember this one set of tights that in WCW had like all these people's faces would be like Sting and Ric Flair and all these baby faces, and then on the back they said "beat 'em all." I'm like,
Beat
that's a great. Those are great tights for a heel.
I think the closest person we got to a Rick Rude when it came to that style, the airbrush gear, and you're like, "What's he gonna wear this show?" Was Dream, Velveteen Dream,
Yeah,
during like the NXT takeovers. Like, what's
Oh yeah.
what's Dream's gear gonna be?
Yeah,
he always has.
It was Hogan, Hollywood Hogan. And
He had
stuff.
like a Hollywood Hogan. He had a Notorious B.I.G. one. He did where he dressed up as he wore Prince Puma's
yeah,
pants.
yeah. I was supposed to say, well, Ricochet's gear.
Yeah.
See, I didn't watch most of his content, but mine was Finn Balor. He didn't have the airbrush stuff, but you didn't know what he was going to come out like, what version of the demon he was going to come
Yeah,
out as.
well, each
Jack the
demon
Ripper
depending on
or-
what city
Right.
he was in. Like when he
Right.
was in
Yeah.
New York,
in
he had
New
the
York,
giant
big
apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is fun. And you as a toy collector, like, are we gonna get a toy of that gear?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Vox is exactly right. He was the winner of the Jesse the Body Award and the arm
Oh.
wrestling championship.
It is.
They did an arm wrestling tournament on, I think it was worldwide. It was one of their syndicated shows, and Rude won the arm wrestling tournament. I think he beat like
So-
Van Hammer in the finals.
So why we have Ryan Vox? Like, I don't think we've had an official like Ryan Vox episode. I think he just only joined us for like talking Outbreak stuff.
Mhm.
So what we're gonna do now, Ryan, and just for the listeners listening at home, I don't think we actually talked about this on the show, but going forward, we are going to reach out to guests, people who have signed up, but we're going to tweak it a little bit. We're not going to just sit down and do like, hey, how did you get into wrestling? And like all the same questions everybody else does. We're going to ask you what topic you want to cover, whether it's covering an old show, an era, a wrestler. So if you want to cover Rick Rude, anything like that, we're going to ask you, and you don't have to like, I mean, if you want to do some leg work, that's fine, but we'll cover the leg work, but that's something you're passionate about. And as we're doing the topic of what our audience is already engaged with, then we're going to sneak in like, well, when did you become a fan? How did this person influence you in wrestling? What is some of your favorite? Like, we'll sneak in the interview with the topic. So that's the route we're going to go in the future. So anyone listening or anyone who wants to be a guest in the future, brainstorm some topics. And there are some topics that people have already said, like when this guy comes up, that's the one I want to do.
Mhm.
So let us know, and we want to start having some people on and join us. So that's
and to kind of put some historical significance on this, this is not only Rick Rude's last pay-per-view match, this is Rick Rude's third to last match ever.
Wow.
Because to fast forward to the finish here, there's a ref bump, and Vader and Harley Race get involved. Sting fights them off, but Rude ambushes Sting. But then Harley Race comes in with a chair as Rude's going for the Rude Awakening. He swings a chair to hit Sting, but Sting gets out of the Rude Awakening and he hits Rude. And that is the pinfall. And it's Harley Race and Vader cost Rick Rude the WCW International title. However, they did go to Japan shortly after this. And on May 1st of 1994, so this show was on April 17th, 94. So about 2 weeks later, at the Fukuoka Dome on a New Japan show, Rick Rude wrestles Sting for the international title, and Rude wins it back. But during the match, in these big dome shows, they used to have the ring elevated on like a stage, and Sting does a dive, and Rude falls back, and I think he falls against a guardrail or something and broke his back. And that was his career-ending injury, and he never wrestled again. He was training for a comeback in 99. He was in WCW, he was just an announcer and a manager. He was very disenfranchised. He wanted to get back in the ring, and he wanted to do a program with Steve Austin for the WWF title. It was 98, actually, I believe. Or no, I think it was 99. I think it was right the first time.
Well, he was the one that did ECW, WCW, and WWE all in the same week. Yeah,
he was on Raw and SmackDown the same night. Raw was taped, so he shows up. And Nitro would start at 8 o'clock. Raw would start at 9 o'clock. So he was on Nitro live at like 8 o'clock, completely clean shaven. And then an hour later, he shows up on a taped Raw with a full beard.
Yeah. Rick Rude was really good, and he had that Lloyd's London deal too.
Yeah, like a lot of those Minnesota guys did.
Trying to get Eric Bischoff to buy it out, because if you paid back the money, then you could wrestle again.
Yeah.
But if you got the money, you couldn't wrestle.
Yeah.
So
and the thing with a lot of people, when you hear that, and if you're not like on it, like, oh, okay, so he takes a bump on the guardrail, it's his career-ending injury. They carry him to the back. He's done. The match stops right away. No, he goes on to then take like 6 more backdrops onto concrete.
Yeah, and I don't know if he did all that, but he finished a match and he won. He beat Sting.
Yeah. Well, he didn't know.
Yeah,
but I mean, he still took some serious bumps and did some serious moves with his back destroyed.
It's not like he walked off the basketball court with a sprained ankle or something.
Right.
He finished the match.
You wouldn't have known that was the last time you were ever going to see him,
because
until he hit the back.
This is going to actually lead to this would have been odd. I don't know if it would have worked. I believe this is going to lead to a Rick Rude babyface turn.
Yeah.
Because at Slamboree, the match was going to be Rude against Vader for the international title. I think Rude was supposed to be the babyface in that match. And maybe it was because they knew Hogan was coming in, and for some reason Hogan never wanted to work with Rick Rude. So just get Rick Rude out of the way, and we'll make him a babyface.
I just seen a really funny tweet that just said Kenny Omega possibly missing AEW New Japan show feels exactly like RVD missing ECW One Night Stand in 2005.
If he is hurt, he'll still be there.
Yeah.
He just won't wrestle.
He'll show his face at least.
RVD still took a bump for that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he
did.
did.
Yeah, I'm still bumping.
And that's when we also get to mention here that Flair had offered Hulk Hogan tickets. Flair and Bischoff were really doing the full court press at this time to get Hulk Hogan to come in. He was doing that show Thunder in Paradise. It was basically Knight Rider with a boat.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
And Brother Buddha was there.
I refuse.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not watching that.
I
It was so
watched it.
cheesy.
You watched it?
Yeah, I
Yes,
watched
We
it.
loved it
I
in
never-
our
I could-
household.
They would have other wrestlers on from time to time.
You gotta
Nasty
think,
Boys and all Hogan's buddies.
Yeah, they were
Sting
all
was
on.
on
I
it.
watched the cartoon too. There
Wasn't
was a Hogan cartoon.
Hulk
Wasn't
Hogan's
Hogan-
Rock and Wrestling in the 80s.
Yes, watch that.
Do you know who did the voice of Hulk Hogan on that show?
Like, no idea.
No.
Brad Garrett.
Oh.
For the
Okay.
brother from Everybody Loves Raymond. He
Oh,
does
yeah,
those
yeah.
Jimmy
Love
John's
that.
commercials
Oh,
now. He
shit,
did the
yeah.
voice of Hogan.
Didn't
I
Hogan and
didn't-
Savage were they on Baywatch one time?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anything Hogan was on, my family would tune in because my dad was a big Hogan fan. So
I was not.
we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody
were.
was a
Ryan Box,
Hulkamaniac
as soon
back
as
in the
someone
day.
as someone who had their back broken, adrenaline is a hell of a thing, and it'll get you through until it wears off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you're
Mhm.
like, someone shoot me in the face. I don't want to live anymore.
If only Rick Rude could have came back.
I hurt
Yeah.
my
He would have
back.
had a great second run like Shawn Michaels.
I didn't break my back, but I pinched like 3 nerves
Mhm.
and didn't know I did it and then I did it 4 more times. And then the last time I bent over to grab the basketball after I played like 5 more full court games, I bent over to grab the ball and I was stuck like an L.
Yeah, it just feels
And I
like
was like,
someone's
I'm
stabbing you with
dead.
a knife. Yeah.
Yep, I'm
It's
dead.
Terrible to hurt your back.
I was like, I may have pissed myself. I don't remember
Yeah.
because once that you hit,
Hey, yeah.
once that
you
nerve
have
goes,
that pain,
you can't
yeah.
feel your whole lower half. I
Right.
was like, I'm paralyzed. That's it for me. Yeah, not joke around about back injuries. What do we got here? Jimmy Hart and JJ McGuire did the theme song for Thunder in Paradise.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Hart
Yeah.
probably did all the music.
Once Jimmy Hart turned babyface in '93 and became Hulk Hogan's manager, he kind of legitimately became Hulk Hogan's manager, like
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, our dear friend Jimmy Hart. Well,
Yeah.
let's get it right here.
Well, I mean, listen, we say that
Let's see if
claim,
Thunder in Paradise is
but
on
having
DVD.
having
it
Everett
has
on
to-
the
it-
on the
it's
show
probably
that
on
is
some
legit.
sort of streaming service.
Jimmy
It has
Hart's
to be.
dear friend.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be on some sort of streaming service now, whether it's Tubi or if it's somewhere hidden deep
Oh,
on
Thunder in
Prime.
Paradise?
Yeah.
Well, while he's looking it up,
Didn't it start as a movie? Wasn't the first one like an hour and a half movie?
I think they did
And
that.
then-
Yeah.
And then went to the show.
Yeah.
I watched it. It was wrestling, but it wasn't.
all right, let's get to our.
Well, good that I'm not
our
the only
next
one
and
at the
final
table
match.
that.
Well, there's
Watched
3 more
it.
matches. We
Oh,
had
sorry.
Bunkhouse Buck against Dustin Rhodes. A double juice here in the Bunkhouse match. A wild old school brawl. They both bled, and there's some heel
Did they both have-
chicanery.
Did they both have cowboy boots on?
Yes.
Like legit
Yeah.
cowboy boots.
I
Well,
believe
maybe not.
yeah.
No, Dustin's
sure.
was legit cowboy boots. It looked legit.
Yeah,
to
he
me.
used to Dusty used to,
Dustin's did.
but they also used to get working cowboy boots where you kind of get different bottom on. But anyway,
Oh.
yeah, a lot of times they would wear the real cowboy boots.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
'Cause
gonna
he,
get a
like,
pair and
lost
have a street
one.
fight and have the knee pads over the jeans.
Yeah.
And I'm
You
gonna
have to have
tape
a
my-
That's how
bandana.
you should wrestle Fox.
Yeah, well, it's not street fight. Yeah, you can only do this for a street fight,
Okay.
and then you put your tuck your.
Well, you should challenge
jeans
him to a
into your-
street fight.
Your boots and then you tape them. So
How
your
about a
pants don't
taped
come up.
fist match?
Yeah.
How about a taped fist match?
And then you put a bandana in your back pocket too.
You
Well,
know what
I-
this should be?
I
You know
have
what
a
this match
pair
with
of,
Fox should be? Spin the wheel, make the
Make
deal.
there we
Yeah.
go. Coal miner's glove.
I have a pair of black ones, but I don't know if they'll fit you.
Oh,
Okay,
So,
anyway, yeah.
It's a crazy old school brawl. They load up Bunkhouse Buck's glove with some kind of thing.
Maybe
like
maybe Ryan Vox knows a place you could do like a street fight for.
yeah. Like, I don't want to just have a street fight. I have a street fight. You got to build to it.
Yeah.
And then I want to wear the classic street fight. outfit.
Honestly, you know who you would have a fun street fight with in that promotion, and you're supposed to wrestle
which
him
one? PW or
at
Outbreak?
Outbreak. You're supposed to wrestle him, and it never happened. But I think you two can have a little, not wrestle every time, but maybe
Mhm.
build a little rivalry. Why am I having
Mac Mayhem.
Mac
Why am
Mayhem?
Mayhem.
Mac Mayhem?
Yeah. Maybe.
Because listen, that guy, he would love to be in a street fight.
Probably. Yeah.
That guy's a psycho. He's one of the guys that for a long time I watched him. Like, I think he legit beats people up because he makes his strikes look so
That's-
legit.
yeah.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
you don't want to have a street fight with them.
Yeah. Ain't.
Yeah.
That's one of my wrestling bucket list things: street fight and wear the classic Dusty gear,
There it is.
fight cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Knee pads over the
Yeah.
cowboy boots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he wear a
Yep.
belt buckle too?
You have to wear a
Yeah,
belt
yeah.
because then you have to take your belt off to whip the guy.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a big belt buckle. That's optional.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to have a bandana.
I might have
I
big
have a
belt
couple of
buckle.
those you could use too.
You can put a bandana in your back pocket, or you tie it around your knee or around your neck.
Well, you already do the neck part.
Yeah, so I'll have that. I probably put one in my back pocket too.
Yeah. You have a bunch of knee pads. You have a bunch of bandanas with colors. You put
Yeah.
it on the knee, back pocket, and
Yeah,
the neck.
there you go.
Have the
Triple it up.
And you
yeah.
gotta tape your fist too.
Yeah, well, that goes without
And
saying.
you maybe tape a finger. That's
Maybe.
street fight, man. That's wrestling street fight. Come
Maybe.
as you are, even though when you come as you are, normally you do not wear that.
Yeah.
That's why I love that in WCW. They say that for this. Come as you are. Like they never wear that.
Yeah,
Oh, it was
that's
so
how
good.
Annie really dresses in real
Yeah.
life. Yeah, you guys.
I
Don't
always
see,
tape my fucking pants to my boots.
you don't see his legs,
What?
but that's what he does every podcast. Yeah, his pants are tucked into his shoes.
I
Right
wear
now.
knee pads over the jeans.
All right.
So then Rude is we go back. Bunkhouse Buckets win with the loaded glove, and then we go backstage and Rick Rude is not happy. He didn't need help. He didn't want Harley Race's help. And then Vader comes in and we get a shoving match, and all the heels come in to break it up, including Jerry Sags in a towel, which is not something you want to see.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And that leads us to Vader.
I thought
against
that the
the
street fight was
Boss.
pretty good. Yeah, and Vader, speaking of good, I thought Vader versus not Boss Man was very good. And
Yes.
so this is to speed you up a little bit. He came in WCW, obviously he was big boss man in WWE.
Mhm.
When he came to WCW, they're like, what should he be? He's just gonna be the same character, but the boss. Okay, he's a little too close. Okay, he's gonna wear all black and just be boss. It's like, okay, now WWE's suing, so he's gonna be Guardian Angel. So that's where we get there.
And then the Guardian Angel suit, so he became Big Bubba.
Yeah. So right now he's still the boss, but Jesse Body slips up a lot and calls him boss man. So did Bobby Heenan, and I
Mhm.
think even Tony Schiavone did too. I said, "There's boss man."
He's the boss, man.
Yeah.
Well, they would always say the
Yeah,
boss.
you gotta have that.
Man,
spin
is he
in
big?
between.
Yeah.
Best.
Yeah.
Man, is he big? The boss.
So I think he hits Vader because maybe Vader was throwing a little stiff ones at him. So he caught Vader with one right in the eye and busted him the hard way. Because I don't know what else did it. Because Vader starts bleeding. Like
He didn't Jay Briscoe it.
no, he didn't
No.
just show up. with blood for no
that
reason.
looked hard way.
Vader
so
got
the-
caught with something here.
So the fight starts on the ramp, and Race grabs the boss to kind of hold him back, but the boss gets out of it, and Vader just plows into Harley. Like Harley
that
Race
was
is
pretty
just
good.
taken
The crowd
out,
goes nuts.
and then okay,
I can read that.
I'd love. We'll entertain this. I'd love to buy the couch to help you reach your financial goal for tickling random people's belly buttons.
Okay, well, I'm looking for a couch. So we were not actually selling a couch. We were buying. A
Yeah, we'll buy the couch.
couch. So if you buy a couch, you can tell us we'll also buy a couch.
and we will tickle Brian's belly button
There you go.
for Patreon content.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That was by James
There-
Hupp Massia.
Yep.
So maybe he's related Massey. Maybe he's related to the Young Bucks.
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's their distant cousin
Yeah.
who. Never mind. We'll let that go.
yeah,
Harley
and this is just super physical. This match, Vader gets whipped into the first row over the railing. Boss gets like backdropped out of the ring. Yeah, Vader's eye is bleeding. Vader gets a comeback moonsault 1, 2, 3. But the boss isn't happy after it. He just beats the hell out of Harley Race with the nightstick.
Yeah, like 10 shots until stepping out in 1975 comes Nick Bockwinkel.
Yes, the commissioner of WCW, Nick Bockwinkel.
Yeah.
And so they do a tease for the 900 line, which they always do on these 1-900-909. 9900. Phone number no longer active.
And this is where you can buy in to be in a conference call with thousands
Sting.
of people with Sting.
So yes, it was always different. Or it was like you'd call and listen to Mean Gene talk or talk to
How-
a wrestler.
Yeah.
So you couldn't physically talk to them.
Sometimes you could.
Could you imagine 1,000 people over the phone?
Yeah.
So Sting, can you just go and Sting? He's just
They had-
like, what
they
the
had some
fuck are we
kinda-
doing?
They had some kind of game once. I called one of the that
Like-
was said I want a WCW t-shirt.
Oh.
I could Sting just be like, did no one thought this through?
Yeah.
No one, 1,000
Yeah.
people on the phone.
Yeah, nobody thought like this ultimate chaos phone conversation.
Could you imagine if we let people do that now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot about 900 lines anymore.
No.
It was a big thing in the 90s for
Especially-
wrestling and phone sex.
Yeah, especially Mean Gene.
And psychics.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
psychics. Well, Mean Gene, he would always have like the scoops on the 900 line. He would do the tease on Nitro, and like, if you want to find out the real story, call
Yeah.
call the 900 line, because I guess
Body says
he
it here.
he got like points on it. He got like a cut of the money, so he
Yeah,
would
go buy
really
some
push it hard.
cocktails.
We need to start a 900 number.
So backstage, Nick Bockwinkel is
Or just a WhatsApp number.
We can barely handle our social medias. Don't add that shit to it.
If we ever get popular, we're doing all of it. We're gonna have.
We're doing a 900 line.
We're doing a high night. Yeah, we're doing all of it.
Well, we could do the psychic thing. We could get a psychic, and then we could do the phone sex thing.
Yeah,
and then we
Dionne
could have-
Warwick.
I'll step in for
And
the psychic.
You want to be the
line.
psychic?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to be real.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a 1-900 number.
Tony can do the phone sex, and Andy
I'll do
knows
it.
how the wrestling
Oh
goes.
God.
I'll be the phone sex guy.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Oh dear
Are
God.
1-900 numbers still a thing at all?
No,
No.
we were just saying that. No,
Yeah.
the internet. It's one of the many things the internet killed.
Oh, that's a shame.
Why would you pay to listen to someone moan on the phone
I'm sure there's some
When-
weirdo who will.
when there's Pornhub all over the place?
It's like
Hey,
you
back in
look
the
at.
day, they did.
Yeah.
It's like, remember those things like 10 10 321 10 10 220?
Yeah, 10 10 220.
They were like just for long distance calls. Like, no, everybody's
on Eric Bischoff's podcast this week, they're watching old Nitro. One of them constantly goes, Conrad, I'm gonna call it. And he calls it. And it's like phone number no longer active. Or no, and then he calls the other one and they still 1-800 collect. There's still a thing.
Remember when? So we used to have payphones at our school, and like if you wanted to go home, you had to 1-800 collect your house
Yeah.
because no one had coins to like call their house. So it'd be like, you have a collect call from Mom. I'm sick. Come get me at school. Click.
Yeah.
That was a there was a commercial for, I think, Geico.
Yeah.
Where-
I
There's a-
remember that. I remember that at Higgins Hopley, we had a bomb threat at one time, and I had money on me. I always had like coins for like the junk food stand, and I remember I was so like upset because at the time I was kind of easily upset kid, and I couldn't remember my phone number. My girlfriend goes in and puts the quarter in and calls my mother. It says, "Gary, it's Amber and Kelly. We're under a bomb threat. Can you come?"
Yeah, that was the thing. You have a
So
collect call.
funny.
You have a collect call from Mom. I'm sick. Come get me. I'm at school. Do you accept?
Yeah.
No. And she
Yeah,
hang up.
and then you just go.
And then an hour later,
That-
come
that-
down to the office.
That was the Geico commercial. It was you have a call from Bob. We oughta baby, it's a boy.
Yeah, man, that was big.
Yeah.
See, at my school, we had actual phones you could use for free.
Oh, wow.
How nice
Yeah.
was that?
Not
Yeah.
us.
You just had to go in the office and use the phone.
Yeah. Oh no, we weren't trying to.
No,
do
we
that.
had phone banks too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bockwinkel is very upset at the boss for beating Harley Race, beating a 60-year-old man with a stick. And he removes his name. You are no longer the boss.
Yeah, not because of a lawsuit.
Not because WWF is saying, hey, you're just blatantly using our intellectual property. So he goes away for a while, and then he joins up with the Guardian Angels in New York. And the Guardian Angels are like, yeah, we don't want you to do this either. And so then he becomes Big Bubba Rogers and he turns heel.
And then he kills the Big Show. He's still the Big Show.
Yeah, well, he would go back to being the big boss man again, but he wasn't.
Well, for a while he
he
was
was
just Ray
bossy.
Trailer, if you remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
I
awesome.
think
This
that
is
was
a
when it was
lot
the
of
end of-
Big Bass Man talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we do a big boss man? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think at
I
this
always
point-
liked the boss man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the main event here, it's Ric Flair against Ricky Steamboat. Which is always good. There's always
Yeah.
just a baseline level of good to Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat. Shivani does a great job of building up. Like, it's 6 years since they had their match. Ricky Steamboat beat Ric Flair for the title in Chicago. They're back in Chicago. Tony Schiavone does an excellent job of setting this up.
I know we teased a future episode, kind of off mic, where we're like our favorite like top 5,
Mhm.
and then like collectively we come up with stuff like the worker, the promo, like the best heel, the best
Okay.
like, and then kind of go off that and like make episodes off like who we think the best of those 5 are, not crammed into one episode. But where does Ricky the Dragon Steamboat rank as a worker? Because everyone says
Well,
like he's absolutely fantastic,
He
but
was.
he's almost never talked about as one of the greats.
Yeah, it's because his runs were like short, mainly because of his wife.
Mhm.
But like when he did wrestle, he's really good. But obviously the promo, not there at all. Because his runs were so short, he'd wrestle a little bit and then he'd have to leave because his
Yeah.
stupid wife, and then come back and he'd wrestle
No,
a little bit and then leave.
his
What
wife
was-
didn't want him around
Yeah.
like wrestling.
Yeah, and
What
then
was the thing?
and then he'd be like, "Well, I can't come because my, I forget her name. She doesn't want me to
Bonnie.
come." Yeah, Bonnie. So I'm or I was gonna wrestle, but now I got to take. She wants me to take some time off. So well, we just gave you the belt, Rick.
Yeah,
it's like,
After
So
he beat Savage for the Continental title, his kid was about to be born, and this is back in the day when it didn't matter. You still stayed
Yeah,
on the
you
road.
still work.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's
And-
what ruined his career was his wife.
But I mean,
I mean, sure, we had a
in-ring
happy life.
ability, he has to be up
Oh,
there.
he's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say top 5. He's very good.
Now,
Maybe top
as a
10.
woman sitting here, I'd be like, if if my husband was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and he was that good, I'd be like, go.
Plus, he's
Go.
making the money. Like,
Yeah.
Go.
but I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
And also cut short by injury, and it was shortly after this because a few months after this, Steamboat beat Steve Austin for the U.S. title, but then he has to vacate it at Fall Brawl. He vacates the U.S. title back to Austin because he's injured. He had a career-ending injury until he came back like in his 50s in WWE.
Yeah.
He surrenders the title to Steve Austin, but Steve Austin has an opponent that night. It's Hacksaw Jim Duggan because they hired all of Hogan's buddies. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan beat Steve Austin for the U.S. title in 27 seconds.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Not the highlight of Steve Austin, but it's okay. He'd do all right.
He landed on his feet.
2 years later.
Everett says my favorite best of 3 is Flair versus Steamboat.
Yep.
Okay,
And the first one was in Chicago. That's where Steamboat wins the title. Then they have a match they play on here in New Orleans where they do a double pin finish, but Steamboat gets the shoulder up in the double chicken wing, and he wins the rematch 2 out of 3 falls. And then the final one, Music City Showdown, Flair wins the title back.
All right. Well, that's going to cover Spring Stampede.
Well, let's get the finish here. We didn't even say the finish.
My bad.
They do the chicken wing again, and it gets into a double pin, but nobody gets the shoulder up. Michael Buffer blows the finish. I think it was supposed to be a draw because you hear Nick Patrick saying both their shoulders were counted down, but Michael Buffer says Ric Flair won.
Yeah.
But Ric Flair retains the title is the big thing.
Yeah, Nick Bob giggled and explained on commentary. But.
Yeah.
And then what does Bobby the Brain or what does Bobby say in this? Some sort of line that I picked up on when Tony says, "Well, you don't have anything else to do tonight, do you?" And he's like, "Well, I do, but you don't know her." I'm like, did anybody else catch that?
Bobby Heenan always had great.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
All right. Well,
excellent show. Go out of your way to watch. You've never seen it.
Absolutely. So I have to go watch the last couple matches because I just ran out of time.
Yeah, you should definitely watch that Vader Boss match because it is intense. It's not that long. It's hard hitting. It's Vader. It's WCW Vader, and that's always good.
Yeah, 400-pound guy doing a moonsault. First he hits the Vader bomb.
Wow.
And another thing he did, he the ball he runs down the ramp because they have the ramp to the ring, like they have it like Sanctuary. There's like a ramp that's like level to the ring that you can go in. He runs down the ramp and jumps over the top rope.
Yeah.
And does a splash like over the top rope, like not off of anything. He literally clears the top rope with a jump.
Wow.
Yeah, I just googled that picture of him and his eye popping out here. That's nasty.
Yeah.
That was against Stan Hansen. And Stan Hansen, he was blind as a bat without his glasses, so he couldn't tell if he was pulling a shot or not. So he would just nail you sometimes.
Let's do this real quick. We kind of teased it. We should have did it in the beginning of the show, but we'll close with our plugs, and then I want to close with your match of the week. So it could be anything you watched on recent, or if you went back and watched old stuff, or even at a independent show if you went to one. So in the chat, in the comments, if you're here with us live, or if you're watching back later, comment what your match of the week this week was.
By the way,
we'll go from last Thursday to today.
Yeah, from last Thursday.
By the way, we didn't even mention this, but next week it's going to be Cash Wheeler against Dax Harwood on Dynamite.
Which will probably be the best match there.
And also when we get close to the end here and the credits are rolling and the last music is playing, if you want to leave us a small review of what you thought of the show, that would be fantastic. Feedback is always great, and we can put it up in the chat. So tell us what your match of the week was, and we'll that's how we'll close this week out. We'll start with you, Brian, because you are remote this week. So tell us your plugs and give us your match of the week.
From everything I watched, I'm gonna go with that Cactus Jack, Max Payne, and the Nasty Boys match. That thing was wild, and it did provide a template for like the WWF Hardcore division for ECW tag matches. That's gonna be my match of the week. And for the plug, as always, you can go to project209.com and find out all about Murder My Dude. We didn't have a new episode this week, but we had an old episode that's getting a lot of traction. I guess people see this show that's coming out on, I believe it's Hulu, called Candy with Jessica Biel, about Candy Montgomery, who was this housewife who had an affair, and then the wife of the man she was having an affair with, she murdered with an axe.
Wow.
Very interesting. And that episode has gotten a lot of traction. It's called Candy, My Dude. I think it was from like about 6 months ago or so. And so check that one out. You can find Murder My Dude wherever you find this podcast. Just look up Murder My Dude. Same thing with Facebook, Twitter, the whole nine. and the website is projecthumanoid.com.
I'm trying to think real quick. I believe I did. If I go to our link tree,
Mm-hmm.
It
for
should be in
Tornado
there. I
Tag,
believe, it's in there,
I
yeah.
put Project Humanoid in there.
But I don't
Okay.
think we were updated as far as like the podcast itself. So if you want to actually listen to it'll be nice. But
Yeah.
if you want to actually listen to the podcast, if you just look up Murder My Dude wherever you find podcasts, and you'll
Nice.
find it.
I see a lot of humanoids out there, Shivani, but I don't see Hulk Hogan. So
Maybe that's where that name came from. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yes.
humanoids, that and Ham and Acres, as he looks for the thing here. So I'll just go next. We already said it, but April 30th, next Saturday, Outbreak Wrestling at the Hamburg Fieldhouse. I'll be in action. Main event, Ian Bush versus Johnny Moran for the Outbreak title. And then May 7th, I'll be at the Birdsboro Community Center for RCW, and it's me defending the title against Mr. Ooh La La. So that should be
Oh,
great.
that's gonna be
Mr.
good.
Ooh La La.
RCW, that's May 7th.
May 7th.
Mhm.
Am I doing anything that day?
I believe there's a weekend in between there, but
It's the day
No, no,
after
no,
the
it's
show
not.
at Weyerbacher. It's a Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a possibility. We'll come see you and Mr. Ooh La La.
Mhm.
Would, you
Ooh
be
la
offended,
la.
would you be offended if I wore my Ooh La La shirt
no,
that day?
I tried to get one off him, but
Oh, we're gonna
didn't
boo
have
the
my
shit out
size.
of you at that show, Andy. We're gonna boo the
you're
shit
a
out of
fucking
you.
heel in our hearts when Mr. against Mr. Ooh La La. What was your match of the week?
my match of the week, out of everything I seen, since we're gonna go Thursday, I'll say Rampage last week, Adam Page versus Adam Cole. So
Oh, yeah?
Hangman versus Adam Cole, the what was it called? The Lights Out
Texas
Texas
Death
Death Match. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Insane bump that they did.
Oof, that's
that eye
scary.
off the rope or off the apron to the table. Jesus. And
That's
then probably runner up will be CM Punk versus Dustin Rhodes. So that was very good.
That was very good.
There was some talk in our chat. I don't know. I agree with why is this so competitive? It should have been. It's Dustin fucking Rhodes.
Yeah, I don't mind.
His brother's the best in the world right now. I guess you're
I'm
saying,
wearing the
and,
shirt, yeah.
and he fucking took his brother to the limit.
That's right. Well, Dustin is still very good.
Exactly.
Dustin Rhodes' brother is Brian Danielson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly.
My plug is going to be Truth Behind the Illusion. This past week, we done Wacky Conspiracies. You can check that out on YouTube, on Facebook and Twitter, Twitch, all that jazz, and just on regular podcasts, like Apple and Spotify and all that.
Yeah. And
So-
now on Amazon Music.
Yeah.
We're on there.
Yes.
Real quick before you do your match, Ari Alexander versus Ryan Michaels from the FGW Shockwave on 10/29/21. It's on their YouTube channel. Is Everett Lee's match of the week.
Oh,
So
Okay,
there you
I'm
go.
not familiar with the either guy or the company, but hey, check it out.
Check it
Great
Yeah.
plug. I like it. If you are Everett, if you are in our community page or on Twitter, tag us
Yeah.
so our people can see it on the community page and go watch that match. That'd be really cool.
And you
Ryan
didn't
Vogt,
ask
real
us-
quick. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Ryan Vogt says Andy Header versus American Miami is the match of the week. Uploaded Saturday on Outbreak's YouTube.
Oh wow, cool.
When you
I'll have to share that.
wrestled at Monster Factory.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
a very fun
Yeah,
match.
about a month
It was a
ago.
very good
It
match.
was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm-
Promo of the week. Nobody's seen it yet, but was that Rembrandt promo.
Okay.
You got to check that out for
Just say,
PPW.
It wasn't my girl Brit's promo. 'Cause, well,
Yeah.
You know what?
She was out of breath.
I want to end with
Yeah.
this. You know what was the best part? She gives the mic to football player guy, and he's like, oh, and they just cut it off. I'm like, yeah.
we
Uh,
did never get Kelly's match of the week.
Yes, match of the week.
My match of the week was going to be, or is going to be, the Lance Archer Mike Orlando match, because it went outside the ring, and me and Tony are kind of like, that was
I'm
excitement
trying to
for
pull
me.
her away. She's like,
Yeah.
she kept screaming. Yeah.
All these big dudes are coming right at me. So that was like right in my face, and I really enjoyed that. So
Yeah, my plug is going to be the IWEP network. You can check out all of our shows on there, but my main plug is going to be head over to the Outbreak YouTube channel. Very honored and proud to be on the commentary for their show at the Monster Factory. That is up now, and you can hear me on the commentary team. Like I said, once again, a huge thank you to Ryan and to Outbreak for allowing me to do that. It was a complete honor. And I hope there's more in the future. I don't want to announce anything or say anything, but very excited for Outbreak and everything they have going on. And yeah, it was just an honor to go be a part of that. I did share that everywhere. So if you can see it on the social media or just go to Outbreak Wrestling on YouTube, you can watch that show. That's going to be my plug. My match of the week, I'm going to stick independent as well. For how much I want to say Alpha Jr. and Jay Lethal, just because to finally see Jay Lethal live, it was an honor. Actually, Jody Dante Martin stole the show from me, but I'm going to go. My match of the week is going to be VSK versus Bro Keller for the championship at PPW. I'm falling in love with.
Is on Fight? Is it uploaded?
It'll be on Fight
or does
very
it-
very
okay.
soon. But so check that out on Fight TV. It'll be coming very, very soon. That's going to do it for PPW, for Tornado Tag Podcast, episode 151. Once again, if you guys can leave us some love, either on Apple, on the website, you can go and leave a review. On Facebook, you can leave a review on our Facebook pages. All those reviews help generate new eyes and some stuff. If you don't want to go that length and you're already here now, just leave a review in the comments as we're closing out the show, and we'll play it
Oh,
up there.
we forgot the biggest news of all. Hook is on Dynamite.
Oh,
yeah.
it was on Dynamite this week.
Yeah, and they're going to get away from squashes soon. They're going to actually...
I hope not.
Oh, he's gonna squash Danhausen. He's
You
gonna
need
squash the hell out of
squashes, yeah.
Danhausen.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much. We're going to close out here. Remember, next week, different time, 7:30 start. Possibly anything can happen, but we are booking it now as the biggest guest our show's ever had, and we're very excited and we're very honored to have him on. So we'll see you guys next week at 7:30. We'll see you guys next time. Tornado Tag Podcast. We're out of here.
Good night, everyone.
Thunder Paradise is $16 on Amazon full complete series. Bye.